Okay, guys, we are live. So for those listening at home, welcome to the Dungeon Musings YouTube channel. My name is Kevin Madison, and I will be your friendly, I guess I'll be your friendly rogue trader tonight, because tonight we are carrying on with our new campaign, playing Fantasy Flight Games' outstanding Warhammer 40K RPG of Rogue Trader. And with me tonight are the stars of the Rogue Trader campaign. I'll go the order I've got you guys on the screen here. Why don't you tell us who you are and who are you playing on our vessel? First up, we've got Sean.
Hello, I'm playing Rogue Trader Quinili Aquade. He is. I was trying to time it with you drinking, Kevin, because I knew that would get a reaction.
Absolutely.
So he's the rogue trader of the group, young scion trying to make his way.
Very nice. Next up is Jeffrey.
Hey everybody, I'm Jeff, and I'm playing Alessander. He is the Void Master of the ship.
Nice. Next up is our resident armor smith, Dave.
Hey everybody, I am Dave, and I am playing Godwin. He is the ship's seneschal.
Nice. And last but certainly not least, joining us from an ungodly hour in his neck of the woods is James.
Hey, I'm James. I'm playing Regius Benetek, the navigator of the ship.
Lovely.
Hedonist, arrogant, and proud.
Nice. All right, guys. So this was, at the time of recording, this is our first session from me returning from vacation. So it was a month ago that we played our first proper session of the campaign. But let me bring you guys over to, I believe this is the one here in Port Wander, where we had you guys. And what do you recall happening last time? I have you guys mixed all up here. Hold up. There we go. What happened last time?
We got a hopefully this was last session and not the session before. We got a Vox from Orbes Dre. Was that last session?
Well, we only played one session of it, so unless
okay.
it's the
then I'm safe. Then I am safe.
You're safe. Anything that has happened in fiction has happened in
I am protected. Plot protection in a strange way right there. So we got a Vox from Orbis Dre that served my great-grandfather, and he's been holding on to a communication stone, is what I wrote down. I'm not sure if that's entirely correct, but a device.
What it was, you had, when you docked at Port Wander, let me... maybe I'll make use of our multiple maps we've got here. So this is the Coronis Expanse, where you guys will be seeking your fortune aboard the Mortis Probati, forgive me. But in order to access the, what do you call it, the Coronis Expanse, you do need to travel first through the Maw. It is a narrow... channel, if you will, that runs between two vast warp storms. One is called the Screaming Vortex, and the other the Void Dancer's Royal. And where those two storms meet, there's a small gap that allows you to sneak through, and just outside of that is a massive port, or space station, called Port Wander. And you guys had first spied Port Wander drifting off from this in the orbit of this planet outside of the Maw, and then this was when you approached Port Wander proper. Now, as you had docked with Port Wander, there were a number of different Vox messages that were coming from all sorts of people, regular, old, friends and colleagues or rivals, from other ships, as well as the general standard, greetings or, advertisements for, or in treatises for commerce. But the thing that really stood out was that there was a member of your house, of House Aquare, who was here and said that they had a gift left with them by your grandfather, or your great-grandfather, perhaps. I think it was great-grandfather, actually. I think I said grandfather at first, but then I read
great-grandfather written down.
Yeah, it's... so you had great-grandfather written down?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So, and that individual was Orbis
Dre.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A house agent who definitely has seen better times. You had very modest dwellings in there. And while you met up with him in the, was it the Court of the Dead?
Yes. Court of Death is what I have. Court of Death.
Court of
Marketplace? Maybe it's Court of the Dead. You know, I just...
Court of the Dead, yeah.
Black.
Yeah.
Okay, Court of the Dead. Got it.
While you were in there...
Some
and
assholes attacked us.
That is correct. And what do you remember about the specifics of said attack?
There's a little flying creature that tried to take away the stone.
Yes, that is correct. And then after driving them off, you were taken into custody, or at least by, not custody, but you were questioned. Yeah, by one of the Arbites. Where are... I thought I had a illustration of them.
Pretty sure you did.
Ah, here we go. So
Pretty sure you labeled it something different.
Adeptus Arbites. No, I labeled it the thing it actually is, which is why I missed it. So that's what the Adeptus Arbites looked like, and they took you into custody. They are the law, as it were, on Port Wander. And after things were explained, these were crew members, seemingly renegade crew members of a rival rogue trader's ship. Do you remember who that was?
Bell?
Hadric Fell.
Yes. Now, you had no knowledge of any rivalry between your houses, so what the hell does Hadric Fell want with you?
I probably wants the map. Captain of the Fell Hand, and he had already departed by the time we got back to the ship, so...
Yeah. And, Regis, you using your mutant talents as a navigator and psyker, you accessed the Void Stone.
Yep, so we got the feeling of a location, and also, if I remember right, could tell that another psyker had accessed it.
Yes, which was strange, although it seemed to explain the seeming interest in that stone that strange bird had.
Yeah, we reckoned that was, as it were, a familiar that the other psyker had used just by touching it. It had accessed the knowledge in the stone.
What happened after that?
We needed a way to use the stone and figure out where it was leading to, I think. So we went and looked for like a navigator type person or someone.
Well, I think you did have a navigator type person in your on your crew. Regis is a navigator.
Right. Well, we were looking for something though. Can't remember what they were.
Yeah.
Yeah, we went to. Was it a map maker or whatever? It was.
Some of you went looking, I think, for a map maker, and then some went looking in sort of the seedier parts. And Godwin got that incredibly good roll, and ran across an old friend who I think her name was Marissa. Where is it here? I was listening to it earlier.
Seraphina is what I have, but I could be wrong.
Serafina Magoro? Or
Magoro's system is what I have written down. Magoro's system deep within the Winter Scales realm region of the Cronus Expanse.
That is correct.
And her name was Seraphina, if I am correct.
Right. So Seraphina told you that what you seem to... Because do you remember the vision that you had, Regis?
No.
It's been a month,
It was sort of it was a location. I had a feeling of
So
seeing
here's
some
what you
location.
saw. You saw a flickering star surrounded by a nebula and vast stretches of void, circled by a dust world and a frozen halo. And using that information, you had, or what Seraphina was able to identify or confirm for you was that it was this planet called, or a system called the Magoros. And
the Winter Scales is on the map, right? Somewhere
the Winter Scales realm is a region of hundreds of planets that were kind of like I'd quickly identified but never explored. I'll read you the blurb about the Winter Scales realm once again. So Winter Scales realm is one of the most explored and exploited regions, and one that has delivered both fabulous riches and early death for the unwary in equal measure. Winter Scales realm is a region defined by the stars explored and charted by Sebastian Winterscale in the early centuries of the 41st millennium. It is composed of a few coveted worlds sitting like islands among the darkness in the unknown. Dark rogue traders have traversed the realm's breadth 100 times, but even so, its farther reaches and troubled warp regions remain unmapped. Though only a handful of worlds within Winterscale's realm have even been partially explored, these have proven to be fat with riches and treasures. It has lured those whose goal is only wealth, and has become a battleground between rivals for its bounty. Gems, precious minerals, exotic Deathworld beasts, Xenos artifacts, and many more rarities have poured into the select coffers of merchant cartels and noble backers in the Calixis sector and beyond, thanks in no small part to the Winterscale realm's tireless explorers. There was something else you heard of as well, too. Something of interest to your great-grandfather.
Wasn't there a treasure?
Yes. It was, where is he? The ship is the Righteous Path.
That is right. The legendary Righteous Path. Would you like to hear the legend once again of the Righteous Path to refresh your memories?
Endlessly.
So for those listening at home, this is the story time session. I'm just going to sit and read from a 400-page rulebook. The story of the Righteous Path begins over 2,500 years ago, during the time of Drusus and the Great Angevin Crusade. The stalwart forces of the Imperium were sweeping across the region of space that would one day become the Calixis sector, pushing the enemies of the God Emperor before them and bringing light to worlds lost for centuries to darkness. Among their number was Lorcanus Rin, a great warlord and free captain filled with bloodlust and greed, but also an unwavering faith in Drusus and the Emperor. At the helm of his grand cruiser, the Righteous Path, he was the scourge of 100 worlds, carving out a bloody path before him as the crusade conquered world after world. One such world was Crystallion, recorded as the 73rd world brought to the light of the Emperor by the crusade. It was, so the story goes, an ancient colony of man which had long ago fallen to the heretical worship of false gods and the teachings of treacherous prophets known as the Talisar. Covered in glittering cloud temples raised by the Talisar to the glory of the myriad faces, it was a world of immense wealth and blasphemous grandeur. It was, however, no match for the might of the imperial armies led by Lorcanus Rin. The warlord descended on Crystallion, filled with the righteous wrath of the Emperor, sweeping away thousands of years of civilization in 3 days of fire and blood. When the killing was done and the corpse counters began gathering up the detritus of war, Lorcanus Rin marveled at the riches he had won. Never before had he seen such naked wealth. Temples packed high with artifacts of rare and wondrous make, statues gilt with gems and glittering with gold, and shadowed vaults of forgotten and forbidden archaeotech. Here the story varies from teller to teller. Some say that the wealth of Crystallion was more than rare metals and precious stones, but that its people were also a prize, bred from a stock of pure genetic material, and spared from centuries of warp taint. They were bundled into stasis coffins and taken away to be trained as elite warriors or highborn servants. Others whisper that Crystallian was settled during the dark age of technology and still harbored devices from that time within its cities and temples, secrets worth more than the raw mineral wealth or combined populations of 100 worlds. Whatever the form of Crystallian's wealth, Lord Canis was not content merely to sample it, nor did he trust his fellow crusaders to carry it away. So he set about filling the righteous fury from stern to ram. He tore out gun decks and launch bays, marooned thousands of his crew, and stripped away the vessel's innards until she was bursting with plunder. The warlord then vanished into the warp and from the pages of history. Over the centuries, there have been many expeditions to find the righteous path. At the time of its disappearance, members of the crusade quested after the lost vessel. Later, free traders, adventurers, and imperial servants have all tried to find its resting place. Many believe the vessel is lost forever, sunken beneath the tides of the warp or smashed to pieces and scattered across space and time. Crystallian, however, was rumored to have once existed on the trailing edge of what is now the Calixis sector, only a short span of light years from the Maw. This has led some old void-farers to speculate that Lord Canis Rin and his ship were caught in the tides of the storms that plagued the Coronis Passage and dragged out deep into the expanse. And it was your great-grandfather who said that they had spotted it and that they had marked the location of where they spotted it and in that Nemolith, the stone that you guys came into possession of. So it appears that the righteous path may be one of the things drifting around the Mogoros system's star. Now, there was something else. I believe that was our captain and our seneschal who had undertaken to get to that. Am I missing anything else, guys? Was there anything else that you remember from last session, or anything we need to pick up on?
Not that I remember.
Okay.
We had a little chat with, I mean, it didn't really amount to more than you said, but the precinct marshal, Kira Valkyrin, she's a contact, maybe a little bit. We go back or something like that. But,
she was a member of the Adeptus Arbites, though. So
yeah.
Yeah, you're absolutely right that you could do that. Now, one of the things you guys had talked about at the end of last session was potentially upgrading the space before, or upgrading your house's presence here before you could. In terms of like how we structure that, what that would be is one of the undertakings that's part of your overall progress. So you may not get some achievement points, or you may not get much achievement points, but what it'll do is it'll give you profit over time. It'll give you a holding that should generate profit. So,
all right. Cool.
But before we do that, though, we did not get a chance to see what Alessander and what Regius were doing. What do you guys remember that you guys were pursuing? Were you looking for a map, or was there something else you guys recall doing?
That sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, we could do that. Because I don't remember what we were up to be honest with you.
No, I wasn't sure if because we were back at the apartment, and I wasn't sure if we then just went back to the ship. So, but a map sounds good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then, let's see here. And I'm just going to take a look here. Oh. Failing grade for the DM screen. No skill list. Here we go. Okay, so I think it would be an inquiry check. How are you guys looking for inquiry? It's, I believe it's a basic skill.
I don't remember seeing that one. Nope.
Inquiry.
Untrained.
Yep, that's a nope. That's a nope. Untrained.
Okay.
I've got a 21 in it.
21.
Well, that's not terrible.
Yeah, and I mean, this is not yeah, this is going to be a routine task. It'll be plus 20 to try and track someone down. And then you do have your fate points as well, too. Remember, you can spend them. Do I have a handout for fate points here? I do not. So let me just refresh everybody's memory on this. Let's see here. Because fate points are an important part. And you guys have, yep, everyone's recharged their fate points. Your fate points can be spent. Nope, here we go. Character adjustments. Nope, that's not what I want. Experience points. Nope, 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 nope. Where are you, my friend?
They're on 233 of the core.
233? Yeah, I thought it was... Here we go, okay. So you can spend 4 points to fate points to re-roll a failed test once. You can gain plus 10 to the bonus before you roll. You can gain an extra degree of success if you have rolled a success. You can count your initiative as if you'd rolled a 10. And you can instantly remove 1d5 damage. You can't do that with critical damage. And you can instantly recover from being stunned. And then you can also burn fate to not die. So that is how you make use of that. Now, playing the game. Here we go. Here we go.
Is this like a case of like we should be able to find a map no matter what, but it's like the quality of the map we find, or what?
This is going to be, yeah, it's going to be finding, because this is the only reason you're rolling is because there's a potential failure here. You may not be able to get this here. If you don't get this here, you're going to have to try somewhere else to help locate where this stuff is. There are different spots, stop-offs before you get to, like, maybe let's take a look at the geography for the Kronos Expanse here so you know where you're going. So where you are right now is at Port Wander. Each of these things that you make your way through here is places that people stop in the course of going through the mall. And then there's a place called Footfall on the far side. And I may have to use, because it's just my easiest frame of reference, I may have used Mos Eisley as a way of referring to Port Wander. It's not really accurate. Port Wander is not nearly as seedy as what Footfall is. Footfall is truly the Mos Eisley of the Kronos Expanse and the surrounding region. Once you get here, that is when you will be traveling into Winterscale's realm.
In last session, we were in Port Wander, right?
You're still in Port Wander, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you've got the name of the system now. It's a matter of finding how you get to that system. And that's where the map will come in. So if you're unsuccessful here, what you can then do is the battlefield's not really a place, unless you run into another ship that's there. I don't think any of you guys have any, unless you spent any of your XP from last session on lore for the Kronos Expanse, you guys still don't know anything about what to expect in here.
We may have to work on that.
Yeah,
That's a good point.
Good investment.
GM didn't tell us.
There will most certainly be Footfall will have as seedy and as like it's full of just the. Let me give you this quickly the description of it, because I think you may have been asking, and I really do love it makes. Mos Eisley, as with everything in 40K, right? It's taking what is grim and whatever else and just turning it up to an 11.
Yeah.
This is the description of Footfall. Here is first what a prince says here about this. You, sir, are a liar. And while you may command a flotilla of warships, the fact is that right here and now, there is just you and me and this hammer. So let us hear no more of what you do not know and proceed to what you do know. Doranol Cassius, Prince of the Casbalica, in conversation with rogue trader Hiram Salt. This is the description. The settlement that was once known as Dwayne's Footfall, and now simply Footfall, is a tethered network of hundreds of stone structures floating in Furibundus's voids. Furibundus is the first sort of big stellar object that you encounter when you come out of the maw. It is a mass of buttressed temples and plasma-pitted fanes whose towers jut out at all angles in the void. Most are linked by enclosed stone tunnels and arch bridges, in addition to huge steel chains. At the very center is tethered a huge macro statue of the Emperor, God Emperor, larger than many warships. Many of Footfall's buildings would not look out of place upon a planetary surface, while other spiral mazes and winding tunnels of unsupported stone would fall apart under the tug of gravity. Sections of Footfall have no gravity, and many have fluctuating levels of generated gravity. The few structures that have their own stable grav generators are highly desired prizes and are fought over by most powerful factions, changing hands over the corpses and regrets of their prior occupants with alarming regularity. Over the centuries since its establishment, Footfall has become a lair of villainy and intrigue. The descendants of its original population of stoneworkers and rogue trader vassals, now far outnumbered by less reputable newcomers. Here, religious fanatics rub shoulders with assassins, spies, fugitives from imperial justice, narco-tribesmen, rowdy crew on furlough, and a wide range of disreputable merchants. Beneath this tumult of lawlessness can be found an even more shadowy world: heretics, cultists, unrestrained criminals, unsanctioned psychers, and worse. Here, 1,000 forms of deadly intrigue can be found, and anything from a starship to a human soul can be bartered in Footfall for a price. It is precisely for these reasons that many great powers and factions from the Calixtus sector maintain secretive agents in Footfall: the Administratum, Battlefield Calixtus, the great houses of the imperial nobility, the disciples of the dark gods, the Ministerium, and perhaps even the Holy Ordos of the Inquisition as well. For the rogue traders and their agents, Footfall has many uses beyond those of a simple port. These individuals come to learn about competing interests, find an array of illegal services unavailable on Imperial worlds, send forth trusted crew to carouse, gather new recruits to replace those lost to the void, and participate in deadly intrigues to gain an edge in the exploration of the Coronis expanse. It is also a place where a vessel can shelter to refit and repair damage in relative safety, provided a rogue trader can abide the thousands of assorted scum who might flock about, or the dubious strangers who will swarm their injured vessel and toil upon their hull for a few thrones apiece, or the heretics, whose price is far higher, but whose no questions asked expertise makes them worth the daemon's bargain to hire. So that is, if you're not able to find a map here, you probably could find it in Footfall, and because it is on the far side of the expanse and it's full of such disreputable sorts, you may find a better chance of getting it there. So now,
and by the way, go ahead.
Shall we have a quick try anyway?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we're here. We might as well.
What were you saying, Sean?
I completely inadvertently found profit factor on the character sheet.
Oh, where is it?
It's on the skills tab, right column, below advanced skills.
Advanced. Oh, yes! Oh, and there's acquisition test too. Great.
But you can't type in there, so I'm going to need help in figuring out how this works.
Hit the plus. Plus sign allows you to move it up.
Look at that. And that's why one of us is a GM.
Oh, no. Really, all that means is that I'm the fucking idiot who's like, ooh, button.
I was thinking maybe I had to make a roll because it's got that giant acquisition test button to the right.
No, you have to hit plus 60 times, I guess.
We're all good. Everything taken care of now.
Okay, perfect.
So we found it.
Excellent. I figured it was going to be on here only because the sheet is so well done.
Yeah.
So, all right. So does that give you guys? We'll talk about like more of the locations as you guys explore it or as you guys learn about it. But I thought that at least having an idea of what's on the far side, so you've got an idea of where, the waypoint before you get into the maw and what to expect coming out of it. Yep. You at least have those two safe harbors, on either side here. So.
And we are just leaving Port Wander, right?
You are at Port Wander still.
Yeah.
You know that there is this system, what is it, Maboros?
Oh, Magoros?
Magoros. Okay.
Magaros or Magros, whatever.
Magaros, yeah, whatever you want to pronounce it. It's a made-up thing anyway. So. Well, actually.
Yeah.
That's quite far down. That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Then, so that's what it'll be somewhere within Winterscale's realm that you'll find this planet. But if finding a map. Now, what I was looking up, is
because Magoros is down with the Foundling worlds.
True. We should probably. It appears to be of the Foundling worlds, not in the Winterscale section.
Yeah, I don't know why that. Is that on?
Is that part of the mystery, Kevin? Or
no, I don't.
The planet keeps moving.
Yeah, seriously.
Sinister, demon touched.
So if Kevin says, I don't know what you're talking about, it's part of the adventure.
No, it could be the, what do you call it, the art team not following the order.
Right. Yeah.
Again. But no, it's definitely, I didn't add anything extra into it. That's what it says in the adventure, at least. But in any event, that might be, maybe there's two Magroros. It's like London. You're going to London. Yes! Ontario. Oh.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe there's like England and New England. There's maybe a new Magoro somewhere.
True.
Okay, here we go. So we'll bring this back over here.
Inquiry with plus.
Well, bear with me one moment. I was looking at one extra thing here. Justifying. I've got the adventure open at one point, and I'm justifying my second copy by reading. Looking up. Well, I had a suspicion. There was just I had completed a collection when someone was trying to unload an entire collection of Rogue Trader for like a ridiculously reasonable price per book.
Wow.
And I was like, the video game's going to come out right away, so it's probably prices are going to go up. Why not? At least that's the rationalization.
When that comes up, that'll boost it for sure.
I'm curious because once the I imagine they're going to revisit some of this stuff with the new book, whatever that new system is. I can't remember what it's called.
Mal is something.
Maledictus?
The new cubicle, the new cubicle 7 one.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Easier way to go.
Yeah, really. Okay.
Maledictus, I think that's correct. Anyway.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, me too.
Cool. You know what I'm looking forward to is that frickin' arms book for Warhammer Fantasy 4th.
Oh, yeah. The little trio of books, the Magic one, the Arms one, and...
the Bestiary? Zoo?
Yeah. Even the Ocean one, I wasn't expecting that. There's some good ones they've come out with.
Oh, and they announced Lustria? Like... They are really swinging for the fences for people who complained about them spending all their time in the Empire with the first batch of adventures.
Stop. Yeah, totally.
Great stuff. Okay, so what I was looking up is, for those listening at home, we haven't had a chance to hang out for about 3 weeks now, so apologies for the chit-chat. But this is what happens when friends get together. So, let's see here. What I was looking for is assistance here. Assistance grants a +10, right? It increases. Yeah. So long as there's
so I can roll, and if I succeed, I add +10?
No, you actually don't need to roll. You just need to.
I just get to grant +10.
Yep.
Oh, nice.
Only the character that's actually performing the test rolls dice, but it's reduced the difficulty by 1. So that means this is actually a easy +30. roll for
Okay,
the
so
Regis.
let's try this, and I'll still bungle it. But let's go.
We go.
Benedict's
Big money.
arrogant. He's feeling lucky.
We go 4 degrees of success. Beautiful. All right. So then, that is what you find. Well, I guess first off, tell me a little bit about how you guys, we'll situate ourselves back on Port Wander once again. You remember how cramped this place is. It's both cramped and open because it has the massive open ceilings in many parts of this, but the available space within here has just been filled up by stalls and vendors and residences and little, what do you call it, manufactorums. So just... And there's just a swirl of sensory input from the wild spices drawn from exotic planets beyond the expanse. There would be riches drawn from all across the Calixis sector that are being peddled here for those going across. A variety of different foods being cooked, and the different styles where there is sort of an accepted imperial, noble style that everyone seems to follow, at least those who want to curry favor with the imperial court. Here, there is just a cacophony of different styles and cultures and clothing and accents, being spoken by the different vendors. It's hard to pick out, signal from noise almost in here to find out okay, this is what this actually sells here. And
I like the picture. The picture's pretty cool.
Wonderful
I think that's
stuff.
Pretty,
yeah. Like one of the advantages with running a game like this is there's just so much good art for
so much.
Like even drawing stuff from the books or for the source books, there's just gorgeous art in these things, which I think stands on the shoulders of many of the card games that they cranked out for it, because they have they had so much art come out for those. But in any event, what you finally come across is a scrivener's shop in the Chambers of Gold. And this is one of these places that is you can picture a really irregular surfaced, if you picture standing outside a massive stadium, something that goes up 4 stories but seems to be, one solid structure. And then within that, there's scaffolding going on the outside that leads into different shops and different vendors. And it's in one of those that you manage to find this scrivener. And his name is Magnet Scrivener Jorn. So he's an older gentleman, and I think he is impressed with with the rolls that good. You guys make a really good impression. Regis, you make a really good impression. How do you think that you would have approached the Master Scrivener?
I'll be looking at...
Sorry, Magnet Scrivener, not Master.
Imagine he's got some examples of his works at across the walls on the inside. Yeah. So I'll look at a couple of those, and I'll just be making a perceptive remark of being a navigator, of some insight into an error on one of the maps.
Remind us what the what unnatural feature you have that marks you as a navigator.
So I've got my third eye on my forehead, which marks me out as...
Aren't your eyes perfectly black as well?
Oh, yes. Oh, sorry. And my... Oh, yes. But the regular eyes are also completely black.
So when he walks over, I think you turn. So that you can picture this gentleman is probably, if he's a master, he's probably in his late 60s, but he's that aged, living on a space station and stuff where it's harder on the body. So he's hunched over. His clothes aren't quite as clean or as pressed. He has the look of a member of maybe the Administratum or the Ministerium. And when he turns, his eyes sort of open, and he says, "A navigator, sir. Welcome to my shop."
Indeed. You seem to have some rather nice wares there. I'm looking at some of the examples you've got under glass up there. They're
yes.
Elegant. And some quite old, I would say.
They are, indeed. I am fortunate to have in my stock many unusual maps drawn by the very navigators and traders who have made their way across the expanse.
Tremendous. Now, what of the regions up to? This is where I embarrass myself. I forget the name of the of the
Winter Scales realm.
Winter Scale region. Yeah.
Yes, we have many.
I am interested in going further in there. I need to broaden my knowledge of the area.
Ah, you're venturing in then with your captain?
Considering our options. So,
He looks at you with sort of a sly look on his face. And he's like, considering, eh? Your captain must have a great deal of money on hand. He must be wealthy indeed if he's come to the precipice of the Maw to consider his options. Let me see if I can't weigh him in favor of a voyage. Have you crossed the Maw before?
No, this would be my first time. And that's why, as a navigator, I want to understand more about where I'm going.
Of course.
Never mind my journey. Knowledge is power.
Now, is there any system in particular that you are interested in?
Indeed. Do you have anything as the overview, or also?
There are hundreds of systems, Master Navigator. You would have to provide some. If you are not limited by time or expense, we can certainly provide information for many of these. But if you know precisely where you are looking.
Let me say, I've heard of
I should say
rumors
as well,
of the place of Magoros.
You may, as is the case elsewhere in the Empire, discretion as to inquiries and sales is of utmost importance for all scriveners.
So professional client privilege.
What you ask of me to locate, none will know.
Then Magoros.
Magoros? That's curious. Your captain.
Had other inquiries?
Well, I have. If you are, who is your captain? If you don't mind my inquiry.
My captain is Cornelia Acquire. I always struggle with his surname. Even after all these years.
I believe we pronounce that differently on Port Wander. And
it's uncivilized here. I knew it.
We find that there are often two kinds of traders heading through the expanse: those who have no destination, who travel with empty holds, and those who have a destination in mind, who go with full holds. Is your captain the former or the latter?
No, we go to collect.
Then I might make an offer of you. I take it that you are aware of Footfall, the community on the far side of the Maw.
Indeed, I have heard of it.
Being that this is your first time through the Maw, you may be aware that often navigating the warp storms, the Maw itself, crushed between the storms, can be a troublesome, and it can be a troublesome journey, and often ships can find themselves in need of repair, either from the voyage itself or those who lurk within it. So often, ships will spend some time in Footfall before venturing elsewhere. if your captain is intent on making such a stop, then we may be able to come to an arrangement. I have cargo, texts that I need carefully transported through to Footfall. And if you could transport these volumes, then the compensation could be... It may more... I can adjust the price of finding Magoros for you. And on a like metagame level, if you agree to take these, this is a criminal endeavor. If he's not transporting texts openly, that probably means that they are forbidden, but it would grant plus 200 achievement points. And with your cargo hold, that'd bump it up to 250.
Yeah.
I believe my seneschal is jumping up and down and rubbing his hands in glee behind me.
No, I'm the Void Master.
Oh, right, Void Master, sorry.
Yeah. If you could arrange such things, I certainly could provide it.
I do hope the information on Magoros would be good for that.
I can assure you I will sell you the information. I am not. I don't find that extortion gets those entering into mercantile endeavors together to gain anything. I will simply, if you will, transport these texts to my contact or my client or customer on Footfall, that I will make it more than worth your while.
Very good. And do you have any good other contacts that may be of use on Footfall?
Oh. Who were you looking for? I can tell you that my customer wishes to remain discreet in this. But
I wouldn't want to bother your customer, of course. But,
what was it you were looking for?
Well, one would be, as you said, there's a risk of damage going through. Any information on a reputable ship workers, or a shipyard.
Why don't you give us? This is actually going to be an influence using your profit factor. You're going to be able to benefit from this because the wealth. One of the things that the profit factor can do is the sheer success or wealth of your crew of explorers can actually give benefits to your skill rolls. So why don't you, Sean, would you mind giving us a profit factor roll? Let me see if there's any modifiers here. One sec. Oop. So it is a opposed test, but his profit factor will be substantially less. So why don't you give us a profit factor check here, just at your base value?
I assume that's is that button, the big button, acquisition test?
Yeah.
Okay, and
no modifiers.
It offers. Okay.
Yeah, no modifiers.
So it says availability just +0.
Yes, yeah, because that's if you're doing an acquire test to purchase gear.
It's a whole form. Hang on now. It's
like The Witcher. You're making an attack roll in The Witcher.
Seriously. So now it's got scale. I guess I'll go +0 again.
0 again. Yep.
Yep. Oh, craftsmanship.
0.
+0. Okay. And we're okay. Oh.
You want to spend a fate point to re-roll that?
Sure. Let's see.
Okay.
8 points. Let's see. Those are over there.
You should be able to click through those options faster next time.
Yes. Okay. Doing this again. Stand by.
And big money. There you go.
There we go.
All right.
Nice.
So then what that means is you were going to get plus 10 to your interaction test with him. So let's see. I think this is going to be a commerce check. And if Alessander is there as well, you can assist with that. Why don't we make that a plus 30? Plus 40 with your bonus. So give us a commerce check at plus 40. Regis?
Now that's a skill I don't have. It's an advanced skill that I don't have.
Then you can use charm, and I'll make that more difficult. I'll then make it a plus 30.
Okay, here we go.
Oh, those commerce checks.
And everyone double check your talents as well too. Make sure you're aware of all the special abilities you have, because I think some of you guys have. Someone's got you got certain things where you get automatic degrees of success or whatever.
Yeah, that's a good call.
Let me just.
It's because it's been a month since we played, so.
Yeah.
And I think someone's got a free reroll on one type of thing. Like one of you guys has maybe it's Godwin has a bonus to all charm checks.
Mm-hmm. I have a bonus against fear, and then interactions with higher authorities in formal situations.
Okay. Regis, do you have anything that would have benefited you here that we didn't?
Let's just see. I have got a peer mercantile, a plus 10 bonus to all fellowship tests but I'm not sure. Is he mercantile?
Yeah. Oh, most definitely. Yeah. So that means this would be 0. That'd be 0 degrees of failure because you'd be plus 10 to your roll.
Cool.
Okay. So he says yes. He says, and he gives you the name of a reliable kind of. You must understand, like Footfall is not the kind of place where they put crews together that are temporary and then fall apart. But this is a good foreman for that type of work. Mm. So you have the name of a good foreman who will be more skilled than average when or if you reach Footfall.
Well, we may after Footfall, we may end up having to go back there. So.
Yeah.
Even if we don't use it straight away.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And one last request.
Of course.
I see you're a man of great knowledge here, but I'm not necessarily going to be able to be popping back through the moor every week. So do you have a man you'd recommend in Footfall itself who might be able to provide me with similar Scrivener supplies in Footfall?
Go ahead and give us the exact same check. Or let's no, we'll keep your profit. Your bonus from the profit factor actually already does rules as written apply for all of your actions for the rest of the encounter. So you get plus 10 on this. And I think what this one though is only going to be a plus 10 on top of that because for two reasons. One, the likelihood of someone operating a regular ship map thing out of there is probably not likely, and it's also likely that he doesn't want to tell you. He wants you to have to come back to his shop, right? So it'll be plus 20 total.
Let's give it a go anyway.
Okay.
Don't ask, don't
nice.
get. And there we go.
Yeah, he gives you the name of someone. No one near as... does that include the plus 10 from your fellowship?
No, actually.
Okay, so then that's plus, so that'd be 1.8. So yeah, he gives you the name of someone as well that you can track down in one. At least the last he heard, he was working there. He was still there. So, and we'll figure out what that name is. Once you guys need it. Yeah, when you guys reach there. Okay.
And when we reach there.
You've got a great navigator.
Then, anything else that I can assist you with?
No, I've very helpful. So thank you. We will meet again, I hope.
I do indeed, Risolda. I look forward to hearing your observations and any insight that you may have. In addition, if you, in the course of your journeys, create new or more accurate maps, I'm certainly always in the market to compensate for such information.
Well, indeed. Exchange of information is a good thing in our trade, right? Everyone benefits.
Well, what I can see is with the right partners, everyone profits.
Exactly.
Good. It was a pleasure to meet you, Regis. The Emperor watch over you.
And over you, citizen.
Okay. And yeah, so you've got that. Is there anything else you guys wish to do while you're in Port Wander? One of the other things you can do is you can try and pick up gear. Remember, you guys have a 1.5 or 1.5 km long ship full of people and whatnot. You have access to a phenomenal amount of wealth. If there is stuff you want to pick up, you certainly can try and do that while you're here.
Can we investigate what supplies might be valuable in Footfall, so that we can, what do they need there that we can pick up?
Yeah, I guess to do that, what you would like this one. One objective sort of fell in your lap with you. To try and find something else may take time to put together, the necessary contacts and the arrangements and whatnot, and identify, which will give more of a lead time to fell.
We might not want to do that.
I don't think we want to do that at all.
Okay. Then anything else you guys wish to do in Port Wander? Are we heading out into the Maw?
Yeah, I think you basically said it there. We don't want to give any more lead to this other crew.
I mean, no one has any serious shortcomings, do they? So everyone has basically, your maybe a basic loadout of weapons, whatever armor you think you might need. Is everyone basically covered that way?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Very good.
Okay. One of the factors as well, one of the reasons for why you would go back to certain places is because if you hover over the eye, it gives you there you go, great, so we don't need a handout for it.
Fate Points is totally covered on that if you check it out.
It's such a good character sheet. Love it. So then, if there is nothing else you guys wish to do, then we just have you guys getting back on, getting your crew ready, and then preparing to set out for the Maw. So, what we need to do is first, our navigator needs to take center stage here.
First time.
So, let's see.
No pressure.
The thing I will say, and I've only run Death Watch once, and I've run this a couple of times now. The rule books are very good for these. Fantasy Flight really knows how to put together and lay out a really good rule book. Yeah. It's easy to navigate. There's lots of little prompts to tell you where you are in the book. And they cram just a ton of information into the rule book. Yeah. Here we go. Now, let's recall as well what your special abilities are that you have access to with this. Because of the Mortis Probatis Warpsbane Hull, you get +10 to any navigation tests to pilot through the warp.
Thank goodness.
+10, yeah.
Okay. Then, so here's what we need to do. First,
it seems pretty horrible to die going through these storms right at the beginning of the adventure.
And that's a wrap.
Spend 4 hours making characters and you die immediately as soon as you go into space. All right, let me
do a little shopping at the first base and die in the storms.
Okay, I got everyone in the proper spots here now. Great. So then, here's the first thing we need to do. Determine the duration of the passage. Now, to get to the first place you're going to be navigating to is a place called the battlefield. Let me show you here. On the old... You know what I could do? Maybe... So we don't move here, is it? You know what I'll do? Here, let me do this. I'll give you a handout that has the map on it. Okay, here we go. Oop, I'm looking at the wrong thing here. There we go. Okay. And the Coronas. Expanse. I'm pretty sure this one I made a point of labeling all my files properly. There we go, guys. There is the map of the Expanse. So, you see where the... Oh, I said battlefield, battleground. You see where the battleground is?
Yep.
That will be the first stop off that you guys will make. It's sort of like the halfway point, kind of making your way through the Expanse. So that will take you about 6 days of journey to get there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's quite a bit of time you spend in the warp. You have, fortunately, good information. So first thing you do is make a navigation warp test. You will get plus 10 from this. And this is a fairly easily navigated thing, so I'll give you a plus 10 on top of that. So plus 20,
plus 20
to your,
total.
Yeah. And
okay.
Let me quickly check the errata as well, because there was... What was the thing that changed here? Navigators, here we go. Oh, it's only... Stage 3 and Stage 5 are the ones that miss. We're at Stage 1 right now.
Let's give it a go. Come on.
There you go. Success.
Oof, just.
Okay. If you pass... So, yeah, so what this is I actually fucked this up. You make your roll, and then I tell you how long it'll be. So 6 days. 6 days is how you... feeling the eddies and currents of the region around here. Although you can feel it, like I said, when you first arrived at Port Wander, you could feel like almost like an like tinnitus, like an ambient presence. You could feel those two roiling warp storms off in the distance. You're fairly confident this is the case, but those warp storms definitely make it unpredictable. What that also means is that at 6 days there will be at least one encounter in the warp.
Oh.
And I believe, is it your thing, your talent that allows you to roll twice and pick one of them, or is that...
Let me, I was just having a look through there.
That sounds familiar that someone has that.
Yeah, I think that was one of the things Regis could do. Like what I really should have done is read all your abilities beforehand.
Or is the GM just taunting you on something you don't have?
Yeah, and it could be...
I'm not sure I do. I think that was one of the things that was out there as possible. But
what you're from the magisterial house, right?
I am.
Okay. Once per game, you can force a single opponent to re-roll. Oh, that's a success test on your thing.
Lidless, yeah.
Plus 10 to any interaction. Okay, so maybe you just didn't select it.
Yep.
Okay, got it. Okay. So then it's just you knowing that you'll be traveling for that long, there is going to be something that's long enough to be seeing something unusual happening in the warp. Then Stage 2 is the location of the Astronomicon. The navigator must gauge the strength of the Astronomicon to judge just how far and in what direction he is from Terra so that he can plot a course. To do this, he makes an ordinary awareness test. For every degree of success achieved, add plus 10 to any navigation warp skill tests for this voyage. So for this, this is awareness, so you don't get the plus 10 from your warp bone hull. So it's just an awareness check at plus 10.
Plus 10. Then I get to use this. I will use a fate point.
Okay, so plus 20 in total. Nice. So 3 degrees of success means the destination. Oh wow! Is this what I'm looking on here? Success. No, it's the navigation chart I'm looking at. Okay, so then this is plus 30 to any warp navigation warp skill test for this voyage.
Yeah,
so that's
thought
pretty
that was
amazing.
A good one to roll my
heck yeah,
use my extra points.
Absolutely. And that's the thing to remember, that your fate points come back at the start of each session. So, like, definitely make use of them, as you go along.
Right.
That last one is a good one to save for in the case of death. But, up until that point, free and loose.
Oh, the death one, actually, you can burn a fate point to save yourself, even if you've used it.
Oh, nice. You just lose that as a permanent. Oh, great.
It's permanent loss of fate point.
Yep. So you should be having, it should be an empty table at the end of each session. Okay, then next thing is charting the course. Now you have a point of reference you must use, and this is where it's changed in the errata. So stage 3, the first paragraph, this is a ordinary perception test. Oh, no. You know what? This is corrected in our printing. Oh, that's interesting. I wonder if I got a second printing. Because this is actually corrected to what's in the errata. Third printing. Fuck yes. Look at that. Pretty awesome. So that's worth buying more than one copy, guys. Look at that. Boom. Purchase justified. So yeah, so it's an ordinary, this is a navigation warp test. It's an ordinary plus 10. And this is a navigation test, which means this is charting the course. This means you're going to get your plus 30 on top of that, so it's plus 40, and your warp bone hull will also factor in here. Plus 50.
Let's see if I can bungle
this should be kept secret by me, though. So hold on.
Oh, okay. So that's plus 50, so it's 101 I've got.
101 you've got. Okay, let's see here. All right. Success means that if there is any significant warp disturbance along the route, then the navigator has likely detected it. Failure means that he's not. In either case, should the navigator fail this roll, he'd be ignorant of any dangers ahead. The effect of this will influence the chance of avoiding serious warp encounters.
Now, just, and I'm sure this overrides it, but I also have the thing I did take.
Yeah.
Is I can detect major disturbances in the warp portals, ships, and such like that, up to 400 kilometers away.
Okay.
Just FYI for later.
400 kilometers or 400?
Well, if I'm in a ship, it's 400 kilometers or 4 VUs.
Okay, so VUs, that's actually 10,000. That's 40,000 kilometers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because each VU is 10,000 kilometers, I believe.
Let me just have a look at this.
I was going to say, that's effectively you're myopic. But
as above, with the additional effect that the navigator can detect major disturbance in the warp, such as warp portals and ships entering and exiting within a radius of 100 kilometers times my perception bonus. Oh, in starship combat, this power functions within a number of VUs.
There we go.
Equivalent to the perception.
Okay, got it.
Okay.
All right. So with the, actually, that's good to know though. That's like a sixth sense almost with that. So with the Astronomicon located and the local state of the warp gauged, you now make your navigation roll to determine both the accuracy of your voyage and the travel time. This is a navigation warp skill test modified by your perception of the Astronomicon and the general difficulty of the passage. So difficulty of the passage. So this is a minus 10 because it is the Maw, but you have a net plus, or you have an additional plus 40 between the warp bone hull and your roll from before. So this is an open test, not a secret. So the total then will be your warp navigation skill at plus 30.
Oh, well, we'll
You want to fate point that sucker?
Then. Yeah, let's
okay.
re-roll that.
There you go.
There you go.
The whole crew's like, oh.
Yeah.
This whole traveling through the warp thing and not getting a success is a little herring.
It really is. All right, so then what do you guys, why don't you give us a description then, Navigator, of what does it look like as we see the Mortis Probati drift away from the from Port Wander and then enter into the warp?
Yep, so I will disappear off into my own navigator's office where I need to do my work.
Ooh,
and
I need to do one important thing here then.
For everything for everyone else, as the ship heads towards, you can see out of the auspexes at the front the swirl of a vortex opening, and as the ship plunges into the purple flames of that, and everyone feels a chill of this maw. I'm feeling it icy, and everyone else gets a little shiver, I think, of
Whoa, and there's
then,
the hum of the Geller field around the vessel, the creaking of the warp-bone hull, and this angry vessel dives back in. Now, after about a day's travel, and let me see here, Regis, let's quickly check for your healing, because you're only down by 1. So I think you actually might heal 1 point per day.
Cool.
Yeah, so I can't. I think this is the one that had there's a lightly damaged and heavily damaged. A lightly damaged, you remove 1 damage per day for natural healing. So after a day's travel, you're healed back up. Everyone else has not taken the damage. You just made me think of something as well. Is it 288 is where Fate is?
Yeah.
Approximately.
I can't read it properly. 288, I think, yeah.
288, okay. No, it's How to Run Road Trader. Are you guys suggesting something here?
233. 233.
Yeah, with so many books, why don't you read them, Kat?
Exactly.
Kevin, we got together and we bought you a GMing book.
Okay. Okay. So then, what you find is after about a day, Regis, you are perhaps still, back in your at your navigator station or whatever, and you feel it feels almost like something writhing inside you. Like it's not quite a butterflies, and it's not quite nausea, and it's not quite a cramp, but it's somewhere at the middle between all of those things, a painful twisting and moving that then sort of moves up into your chest. What you can feel is that the storms have shifted.
Ooh, that does not sound good.
You are going to have to make a decision on the part, you have to inform the captain, I suppose, that a decision will have to be made. What's happened is that the Imperial eddies have twisted and expanded, and you are currently on your course of travel going to be traveling directly through them. If you pass through them, you will need to make a difficult perception test to plot a safe path. Because at this point, it's not a matter of comparing notes and whatnot. This is going to be an instinctual readjusting to the way that you are traveling. And if you fail, then everybody will need to be making a willpower test. It will be extremely unnerving for everyone if you pass through that the vortex. The other thing you can do is you can delay. You can delay by several days, but the downside there is it will tax the morale of your crew. You will lose morale of the crew from Mortis Probati by virtue of being delayed and waiting in the warp. The longer you spend in the warp, the more likely that something troubling will happen, and the entire crew knows that. So how would you present those options to the captain and the seneschal?
Master Seneschal. So, there have been developments on our journey. And we have disruption ahead. We can plow on through, but it's risky. I have to say, I'd need to recalculate on the fly as we go through. And there's a risk, high risk, that will not, I'll have trouble there. I have to admit it. The alternative is that we wait. But of course, that will be hard on everyone who is not comfortable with being in the void.
And setting aside the toll on the crew, I suppose it also means more time that the fell hand has to carry on.
I think we need to push through.
Have you seen my perception?
This could get interesting.
This is honestly, you can picture, I only because I have recent things to draw on, having driven through a fucking blizzard. This is the worst flying that you've ever experienced. Like you've experienced warp storms before. This is looking to be some of the very worst chop that you've ever been through. This will test your ability to navigate this little trader ship in a way that is, Now,
quick question then: does the benefit of the hull and my awareness roll kick in here?
They do.
They do. So I'm
wait.
40.
No, those were for navigation tests. I think I would apply it, because this is still being in navigation, so yeah. But what will apply is the Wrathbone. I don't think, because you're using a different skill, I don't think it'll apply, but let me double check here. The only reason I would think it wouldn't apply is because this is an unanticipated thing, so planning ahead of time, unless you're planning for contingencies, which maybe smart people would do,
because it was something about orientating yourself so that you knew your starting point. So
exactly, yeah. So let's see here.
I say we bring this to the captain.
The Warpbone thing says to all navigation tests, but small N navigation tests. This one is specifically navigation warp skill tests for the voyage. So it's a different. So this would be plus 10 from the Warpbone hull, but not from anything else.
And the difficulty is hard, so that's going to be minus a chunk as well.
This would be, it'd be difficult. So effectively, you'd be rolling your flat perception with the bonus of the
so
Warpbone hull put in.
I would only put our chances of getting plowing through unharmed at 50-50.
And who are you telling at this point?
I say that we bring the captain in and tell him and Alessandro away.
Yep.
So I assumed all three of you would be there.
Yeah, I thought it was all three.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Alessandro, only because he's the Void Master, his role is largely in real space and in combat. That's when he really sings.
Right.
So you're in your quarters eating Cheetos.
Yeah. Well, he's a senior member of the crew as well, too. So
I'd probably come and pay attention. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Regius, is this how it goes? Is this what's supposed to happen?
No, this is unusual, very unusual. But, going through the Maw, everything is unusual.
What do you recommend?
As I say, 50-50.
I say that is the bane of my day job. What do you recommend? No. Here's how it works. I give you options. You choose from those. I don't make the decision for you.
You see, I am the captain. I make the flow chart.
No, I know where this goes. You want me to tell you which option you do, and then when it goes sideways, you're going to blame me for checking that option. That ain't my...
See,
we're just going to call you Quinelli Excel.
See, this is the difference between a modern law firm and a rogue trader, though.
Yeah, you might be surprised. You guys can all feel free. I imagine that Quinelli runs a loose enough crew. You guys can chirp in with your thoughts as well. Is that right, Sean?
Yeah. What do the rest of you think?
Straight through, or
Press on, Captain. Your family's fortune is at risk.
But if we delay the crew, they're not a bad bunch, but we want them rising up and forcing our hand if things don't go well for a few days in the work.
That's worth noting as well too. As a reminder, your crew and the crew population and the crew morale are abstracted at 100 to start, and effectively like detrimental things like damage to the ship or these kind of events. That's where they take damage from it, and then the way you recoup that stuff is in port.
And we just left port, so
you're at 100%.
We're good now, but
yeah.
Well,
delaying is the one that would wreck their morale, right?
Delaying would affect the morale. Yeah. Going through is risky because it's going to require a lot of instinctive flying on Regis's part. But if he's successful in that, then there's no issue. If he's not successful, then basically it's going to strain the Geller field, and there won't be a morale check, but everyone on the crew may suffer.
Check.
Yeah.
Perils of the warp. Dying is very bad for morale as well.
Well, we could find this ship that's in the warp a lot sooner if we end up adrift.
If we get lost in the
we'll join it.
Let's find the Hulk.
Our wreckage and their wreckage might float next to each other. You never know.
It's a perfect strategy.
Truly the optimist, Godwin, the optimist. Yep. Well,
I like to think there's opportunist, but sure.
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys think?
I say we take our chances, Captain. But it's your call.
I need to improve my perception.
Regius, I can tell you are dying. You are dying for a challenge. Let's push through, huh?
I hate it when you use the term "dying" for a challenge.
That's the spirit, and I clap him on the shoulder.
Okay. Then, what we need you to do, Regis, is as you approach this, you can feel it's not only just Regis too, like as all of you are in there is that feeling, that intense feeling of like electricity and cool, like a coolness to your skin that just like it feels as if it's almost moist, but when you touch it, it's dry as a bone. It's worse for Regis as you're going in and trying to force this thing to maneuver around these massive tendrils of bizarre energy. Regis, would you give us just a flat perception check, please?
It didn't work.
So no!
So I'm going for a fate point.
Go ahead and spend a fate point.
Is there a way to assist? No?
No, you can't, unfortunately, because you don't have any senses to tap in. My point was. So unfortunately,
4 degrees of failure.
For a moment, you think you're doing well, and then there is you can picture there's in this giant expanse of purple and pink energy. This thing is drifting through it. You're going around one massive tendril of white energy, and you think you've made your way through until suddenly, wow, another one passes right in front of the ship, and the whole thing goes through and is horribly energized. Would everyone give us a flat willpower test, please?
For a rogue trader, I'm pretty poor at that.
Godwin, nice.
have a terrible willpower. That's great.
Oh, Alessander.
Oh my god.
Oh, look at me too.
Let's
I'm
roll
a
20.
minus
I mean, what did I
4.6.
expect?
Yeah. You want to fate point that, Alessander?
Yeah, let's try that. I'm going to fate point mine at minus 4.6.
Yours is minus 4. Oh, I don't even see you. Oh, Jesus, yours at the top there. Yeah.
That's only one to do the reroll, right?
Just one to do the reroll. Yeah. There's no
right,
different. Everything you do with your fate points costs 1. It's not like CNC where it's different.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so Regis, you succeed. Nice. What about so Alessandra's going to reroll, and then
Oh my god.
it's worse than before.
After rolls in the
Okay, so
three
it looks
rolls
like
in the 80s.
Is Alessander the only one who failed?
Yeah.
Yeah, after spending the fate points. Okay, so as this goes washes over you, you have very briefly, Alessander, nauseating visions and unnatural lethargy that wash over you. You will be suffering. Would you give us a 1d5 roll?
Jeff just wanted to show everybody the game mechanics of what happens when you fail.
Yeah. It's
Of
only
course.
1 day. So for 1 day, you'll be suffering minus 10 to your what is that? Weapon skill and ballistic skill.
Okay.
Okay. So you're completely disoriented by this. I think you're seeing after visions of things you could not possibly describe. That just kind of vision and like appear before your eye, and it's almost like, you know, like in like a sunny day, sometimes if you close your eyes you can see the little floaties going around. It's almost like that, where you're trying to see it but it's just out of your vision, and you keep seeing this for the next day, Alessander.
Yuck.
Yeah. Now, Captain, would you kindly go to the Mortis Probati and make a check for the crew test, please?
My Void Master is going to pieces.
Your Void Master looks very... you all felt it, like, to a degree, but Alessander definitely, I think... what do you think he's... how is he... Is it obvious, Alessander?
I think he's just like... probably grouchy and vocal if anyone asks him about what's going on. You know, he's not secretive. He's
and his eyes keeps twitching around too.
Yeah.
You know. So the crew test is under the ship tab there, under the Mortis Probati there, Captain. And crew test is under the second on the right-hand side box. First one under crew hull integrity. If you could just click on that, no modifiers.
Yep.
The entire crew has been so affected. Would you give us a
They
one?
have their eyes on Alessander, and who's going to pieces over there?
Would you give us
not a fate point?
1d5? I think you can only spend fate points on yourself.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think the crew is unfortunately an NPC. Would you give us a 1d5 roll, please, Captain?
A 97.
That's right. Only one, so the morale is down to 99 currently.
Oh.
So it's not as bad as it could have been.
Maybe I did one of those, you know, where on the movies it's always that little sound with the all ship communications. You know, I grabbed the giant Warhammer 40,000 like megaphone. You know, some ridiculous looking
I
nonsense.
imagine it's like the kind of thing you'd have on like the Titanic, where it's like a thing you speak into
Right.
that carries the sound down as opposed to a proper radio.
Right. I'll have to come up with some throwaway names for some crew, fungi, strike up the all ship communications, and grab it off the wall.
What I can tell you is that, and feel free to do that. Like the crew is yours. It's absolutely for you guys. What you definitely see, and Alessander as Void Master, I think you probably have the most interaction with the rest of the crew. or one of the Void Masters, at least on the ship, is they're holding together remarkably well. Knowing how you felt, there's a little bit of this, but like it's not so bad that there's like fights you're seeing amongst other people. There's a tension for sure, but it isn't the same sort of. It isn't as ugly as what it could have been. So, they didn't.
Well, they're doing well then for what happened, sir.
They're keeping it together as they should.
They're doing their best.
Indeed.
Then I need to check one thing here. Ooh. Then would Regis, would you kindly give us a 1d 100 roll? Oh, you know, I'm going to grab in the break too is Battlefield Coronas. I wonder if it's got an expanded warp travel encounters.
Oh, probably.
We get to justify another purchase.
I hope everyone is feeling happy that your navigator has no fate points left. Reassured.
Halfway through the session.
Right.
So after that first encounter, you feel like you're about halfway through this. Maybe things will get better. And you see that there is an even gnarlier warp storm coming. That's 2 within the span of 2 days of travel.
Well, all we can hope is that our competitors are facing the same kind of trouble.
You heard the Maw was a challenging thing to go through. This is really, it is certainly proving that people were not exaggerating with the challenge of it. So let's do this. Why don't we take our mid-session break right now? Let everyone take our break and refresh beverages, and then give me a chance to grab Battlefleet Coronas and see if there's at least a table in there. I'll take a look at that. And because you actually have one more encounter after this one because of the length of time of the journey. Isn't that great? So we'll be back momentarily, folks.
Get yourself a beverage there, Jeff?
I did some
Lovely.
Aaron 10.
Nice.
It smells very nice.
I haven't had anything nice and strong in a while. I've been drinking less and drinking like less alcohol, a little sweeter beverages.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I find that if I have like a nice whiskey, I get really bad heartburn or like
yeah, that can be
nation. So kind of sucks, but
yeah, I used to have problems with heartburn once in a while, but not lately.
maybe it's all the other crap I eat that's not helping.
Yeah.
If I eat a little healthier, maybe I can have a good whiskey once in a while.
Well, do you eat spicy food or what? Or not too much?
Not too much. Well, sometimes.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I've come down with like when I have pizza, I get really bad heartburn. So I'm like,
yeah, pizza can do it for sure.
It's like the cheese and or the sauce and who knows.
Yeah.
What's up, Sean?
This is Johnny Walker Black.
Nice.
Oh, nice. I like Johnny Walker Black.
It's good.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so I'll wait till Kev gets back. But you know how on Wednesday I was wearing my Druin helmet and beard?
Yeah.
My neighbor went and knocked on my door at one point during our session, and I went and answered it. I forgot to take the beard off.
Nice.
That's awesome, Dave.
Yeah, it was great.
That makes me think a little bit of that. Stop. There is an ESPN commercial with. They do a spoof where someone's having a fantasy sports night. There you go, and it reminds me a little bit. And they answer the door, and this guy's in a kind of a weirdly sexual minotaur costume, and he says, "I got my fantasy nights mixed up," and it makes me think a little bit of that.
Totally.
He got the wrong idea. Solid, nice.
This is kind of fun because it's actually a knit hat, so it's good for outside, and it gives me a little bit of face covering too.
Yeah, totally.
I was running Octung Cthulhu the other day, so I got my helmet good to go for that.
Maybe we got some space dwarfs. Hmm?
Right, exactly.
My Salt Marsh game is struggling to find a night because people keep getting activities, including myself. So I'm like, the only night that they're all like, oh, Wednesday. I'm like, oh no, not Wednesday.
Oh yeah.
So Kev, I forgot to mention after the session on Wednesday. So during the session, somebody knocked on my door, and I'm like, well, that's weird because I wasn't expecting anybody. So I go down to the door. I forgot to take this off, so I'm standing at the door like this. And my neighbor's like, "Oh, I think you left your garage door open." And I'm like, "Okay." He looks at me. He's like, "What the hell's going on?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm just playing a game with some friends. Never mind." Just dressed up like a dwarf.
That's awesome. Oh man. So I was wrong about rules for the warp travel being in Battlefleet Coronas, because that is just for an expanded rules for building starships and for combat. But in the Navis Primer,
oh, that's a good book.
It's a really good book. There's a whole bunch of extra stuff in here for traveling the warp, including, while we're waiting for James to return, Alessander, would you give us another willpower test? Let's see here.
Oh no, another one?
Please do.
Oh goodness.
Oh, what I was saying, James, I found the rules I was looking for in the Navis Primer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, not. Whoo, mama. You want to spend a hero point or a fate point?
I mean, I guess I can. I mean, I gotta pass one of these things eventually, right?
This is a hallucination you're rolling against.
I'll try one more time.
Okay.
I have yet to roll anything. Oh my god! I have rolled ridiculously high. If we were supposed to roll high in this game, I would just.
It is the fate of the Emperor,
just
Saunders.
killing it.
The fate of the Emperor.
Now hold on. Let's just double check and see what the rules are for if you take the better of the two or you take the second roll.
Oh my
Oh
god!
man.
I think the second one is.
The results of the
afraid.
reroll are final. It says.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
man.
amazing.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well-
so that is. Would you
Yeah.
give us a 1d100 plus 60
Wow.
degrees of
Surely
failure?
fine.
Plus 60.
Yeah. That's
Oh.
pretty fucking good. As far as. Oh.
Like now I roll a 7, right?
Yeah, that's actually really, really good. Okay, so let me check.
He likes the hallucinations, that's why.
Yeah.
He's like, oh man, I've never been on this fucking warp drugs before.
Would you give us just a flat 100 roll now, please?
Flat 100.
So this will be over the course of... Oh, no!
Oh man, the ups and downs of my rolls today. Amazing.
Mostly down.
Oh, man. Okay, so this is sort of... You ever seen The Abyss? You remember Michael Biehn's character?
Like the movie or
The
actually
Abyss,
the-
yeah.
Oh yeah.
I thought you were like, have you ever stared into the abyss? I'm like, is that what's happening right now?
So what has happened is, Alessandro, you're sort of looking over, and yeah, like everyone can kind of know that things have gone weird, but I'm going to let you tell us what we see then. We cut to your chamber because you're not in the, supervising the bridge and waiting to pilot the ship at all times. You're back in your quarters. And what we can see is that like almost all lights are off in here except for one small little, your little desk lamp at your tiny little quarters that you've got. And we can hear... And your shoulders are moving like as if you're furiously doing something. What you are doing right now...
Yeah.
is you have been compelled to eat some unnatural substance. And examples they give are eating rose petals, drinking blood, the taste of widow's tears, or some other similar thing. The warp has twisted your mind right now. So you feel like there is a compulsion. Like you would probably... sneak something. It says it acts like a minor compulsion, which to give you, so you don't have to.
Well, I'm imagining like because he's from this death world, right? Originally.
Yep.
Maybe he's brought like some kind of like cactus like plant or something, or something that's like that. Like you shouldn't, you'd never eat a cactus, right? It's covered in spikes. It's like rough, and like he's eating this plant that he brought along as like this reminder of this death world that he sort of escaped
so like
from.
the camera would cut around to his side, and what you see is him chewing on stuff as blood is pouring out of his mouth from his
exactly.
cutting the shit out of him. Now you're to resist this compulsion is a willpower test at +10. So you're able to sort of have some control over it, but I think that what we're seeing is when it has spilled over and taken hold of you. Now, are you going to hide this from your fellow crew members?
I think he would try to.
Okay. Your choices are to try and conceal this, I think, or your choice is to try and resist it.
Let's see. I think I would try to conceal it.
Conceal it, okay. So
Yeah, I guess so. Because I mean, you're saying I have to roll under 33 with plus 10, meaning like under 23 to resist it.
No, plus 10, 40. If you got a 33 and you got plus 10, you're rolling against 43.
Yeah, maybe I would try to resist it.
Okay.
I mean, once you start eating something that's cutting your mouth, I feel like there'd be some convulsion to it, like some trigger to like.
So give us a willpower check, please.
Yeah, plus 10.
Yeah.
Do you just put 10 in the modifier?
Just a 10, yeah, not the plus sign. Plus makes the whole system break down. Ooh, that's close.
So close.
You want to spend a hero point or a fate point?
I guess so.
Okay.
Seeing as they refresh each
They're like
session.
sweeties.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, well. This willpower save has eaten all of mine. And I'm still having problems. Oh my god. Oh. I have rolled amazing. All right.
So, how do you think the breakdown happens? Do you think that he's on the crew, did he bring it with him on the bridge? Or when he's talking to someone?
I think he's brought like a piece of the cactus. Like, so he's got like these cuts on his lips and his,
Yeah.
Is there like cactus stuck to your cheek? Is there...
Why don't, actually, everyone other than Alessandro, why don't you give us a perception check? Mm-hmm. And why doesn't Alessandro give us a concealment check?
Concealment.
You guys are kicking ass with those perception checks.
We're busy. I got no time for this nonsense.
Yep.
Oh,
We're all just like trying to.
I can never succeed at anything in this game.
But he did worse. So
Yeah. Does anyone wish to spend a fate point to re-roll?
No.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean.
You're sitting on a ton, Godwin. Oh, it's even worse. So I think then it is actually Godwin who notices, like, for a split second, you look over and Alessandro is doing something, and you can see there's like blood coming out of his mouth, and then he quickly kind of wipes it away, and there's just a slight smear of it left on his face, and he doesn't seem to have noticed that you've seen him do this. This is all the same day of that passage through that first bad warp storm, incidentally.
Just make a mental note.
Okay.
Secrets are my trade. I don't need to like.
Right. Well,
like,
and
Alessandro, like, we'll have a private conversation. This is good currency.
You remember I was saying you roll twice? I couldn't remember where that was. That's the Warpbane hull. That's what allows you to roll twice.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So, then...
so you could have avoided this whole thing.
This one, unfortunately, not. No.
Oh.
This
not avoided it, but, like, wasn't this the... Oh, this was the choice.
This was the first... We're not even on to storm number 2 yet. So, and there is also, it's not necessarily that there's nothing that happens. And in fact, now that I remembered that, or at least was reminded by the book, that you got the Warpbane, or what is it, Wraithbane? Warpbane? Warpbane. Warpsbane hull. Why don't you give us a second D100 roll, please, Regis?
All right.
Let's see what the second one is. If you roll a 1 to 20, then it's nothing.
Try to make it not too nasty.
Okay.
I'm already eating cactuses.
Yeah. That passes after a day. Like that manifestation only lasts for the 1 day. Once you stop seeing the weird floaty things and whatnot, that the hold it had on you passes. Now, what your options are is a warp storm or psychic predators that manifest on the ship.
Oh, I'm thinking warp storm sounds like a good option here.
Now, the manifestation thing, there is, because your Geller field is functioning right now, there is a 29% chance that nothing actually manifests. But you have to make that decision. That is rolled after you decide which of those two things. So,
could I turn that around and say there's a 71% chance that something will come in?
You want to think of it that way? So those are the two options. Is there's a possibility of something manifesting, some psychic intrusion, or there is a warp storm. But again, your Geller field is still active, so there's in both cases, it helps the chances of weathering those difficulties.
What do you think, Captain? There's a warp storm ahead, but if we have to take my alternative route, we get close to where demons and such like could approach the ship.
I suppose another warp storm. I hate to think of anything getting inside.
Okay.
All right.
You've got this, Regius. Pull yourself together, man.
So your Geller field is active, which means, Navigator, would you kindly give us a 2d10 roll, please? Okay. Ooh.
That's not good.
So as you are traveling along, you hit this field, and it is quite bad. It's less of the physically unnerving and more of like the ship itself. The whole fucking thing is being rocked by this thing, and the sensors are so flashed out almost by the auspex sensors, by the presence of the storm. There's a point where they finally become overwhelmed, and the ship's auspex arrays are knocked out altogether, leaving the vessel blind. Until the damage is repaired, all shooting tests suffer a -30, and all sensor tests to detect anything beyond the ship's immediate engagement range automatically fail. Additionally, since they're located outside the hull, any repairs must be attempted in the void. They cannot be affected in the warp.
Mr. Scott, how soon do we get these fixed?
And you said this has to be
Yes,
repaired.
keep going.
Yeah, has to be repaired in a port. That's the kind of damage it is.
We've got to come out of warp to repair it.
To perform, so there's extended repairs, and I believe there are short-term repairs. Extended repairs, you do need a port. You need a suitable anchorage, perhaps high. You don't need a port. Perhaps high orbit around a gas giant or a deserted star system, or nestled against a large asteroid to avoid detection. Its crew will then spend several weeks on repairs, determined beforehand by the ship's captain. For each week at repairs, the member of the crew directing them makes a tech use test, tallying the degrees of failure and success. If the degrees of failure outnumber the degrees of success, at the end of the specified period, the repairs have failed. The reverse is true. However, the repairs succeed, and the ship regains 1d5 points of hull integrity. Let's see here. What about...
So we're blind. We're blind and we're crippled. And
emergency repairs. This is one of the tests you can make during the extended test during the test. Your crew has a skill of 30, so if you guys don't have a skill in tech use or whatever, you can rely on the crew to do this. But if one of your characters wants to do this instead, they can jump in. Emergency repairs are a difficult -10 tech use test to direct and aid repair crews. If you succeed, you repair one unpowered, damaged, or depressurized component. Repairs normally take 1d5 turns, which I believe is about 1 to 5 hours, which can be further reduced by 1 turn per degree of success to a minimum of 1 turn. Emergency repairs cannot fix destroyed components. Well, your component isn't destroyed, it's just damaged right now. So, if you need to have it going into combat, tech use is something you could rely on.
What about
The crew would have 30.
Captain?
30 it is.
Does Captain have these?
What was the question? Does Captain have what?
Tech use?
No. No. Rely on my
Trusty crew.
skilled craftsmen around me, of course.
Okay.
Busy doing deals, I am usually. That's the idea, anyway. Well, we can't do it in the void anyway, right? We'd have to come out of void to be even think about such a thing.
You'd have to be in the void. You have to leave the warp in order to do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let me give you the option. So again, the extended crew, the extended repairs are. Let's see here. How long does emergency repairs last for? So I think what I'd say is that emergency repairs would damage it. Let's see here. Would bring it back to functioning. It would still be damaged. So if it took damage a second time, then it would be destroyed without the long-term repair. So I just hit all you guys.
It's a good thing we learned a place to fix our stuff.
Well, here's what you've got is if you do want to drop out, you could try, like if you take a look at the map of the Expanse. Here you go, guys. There is a place called the Witch-Cursed World, which is sort of before that, before the battleground. Ooh. I think you could probably drop out there if you wish. That is supposed to be a dead world. Let me tell you what you've heard about this. It's just one of the regular places you pass through as you're going through the Maw. Oh, you know what I forgot to roll for too was your setting up your PAL. Maybe that's something you'll do when you get back. The Witch-Cursed World is a large rocky planet set alone, without a star to orbit in the deep void, like a bauble discarded by the whim of a god. Its atmosphere frozen to glaciers upon the surface. Whether it is in exile from its former system or was formed within the lightless void is unknown. But no crew will stand for a long stay in these voids. It is an ill-omened place. So, do you keep flying through the void here, blind, without sensors? Or do you try and drop out of the warp in the Witch-Cursed World, affect repairs for a couple of hours, and then go through the process of jumping back into the warp to complete the voyage? What do you guys think? You know, the best thing about this game is there's never good options. Like, there's not like, do you want candy or do you want a bag of nails? Right. Like,
right.
Do you like a bag of nails or a rusty bag of nails?
Exactly.
Regius, what do you think?
Would you like a bowl of fire ants or would you like a bowl of thumbtacks?
Oh, it's more like, do you want the rusty nails in your bed or do you want to brush your teeth with them?
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
What do you think?
We need a captain to be definitive and lead us to the right choice.
I'm collecting information.
That's my job.
What do you think, Navigator?
I think my captain should decide.
I would ask you,
The
Alessandro.
motto of House Acquiare, delegating blame since the 38th millennium.
I sense fear from you, Regius. I would ask you, Alessandro, but you're already a little twitchy. You got something right here. I don't know what it is, Alessandro, but
he's feeling better now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, only
This
the
travel, yeah, but this travel through the warp has not been favorable.
Godwin, thoughts?
Perhaps a little time and out of the warp to effect repairs might do both the ship and the crew well.
Yes. Sounds fine. I've never been to a witch-cursed world. Let's try it.
It's a dead world, but
Now, because this is going to be, this is a little tricky, because you're changing your ship. Like you have to make a roll to exit the warp in any event. But because you're off target, normally you don't need to. Like, if you're going to the place, so long as you charted the route properly, you'll come out where you intended. Because you're shifting it now, it is going to be a warp navigation warp check at -20. Now, it doesn't mean you're trapped in the warp if you fail. It just means you're going to be a little off from where you expected to jump out.
Now, do I still have my 30
Yes.
to offset that?
Yes, absolutely.
So
this is for that. And a plus 10 from the Warpsbane Hull.
So it's a net plus 20.
Net plus 20, yeah.
So you want Captain? You wish
Yes,
this
yes. Ah, there you go.
You can picture, like, in our the film version of our game, there's this dead world drifting in, and it seems more like a black space, you know, around where the stars and the swirling warp and whatnot is, and then there's this portal that opens up, and the Mortis Probati drifts out into it, and the iris is closed. You've brought yourself out and then back in again. So, guys, let's see here. Oh, this is just fucking amazing. There's so much great, like, more texture added to it in this source book. This is wonderful stuff.
I haven't looked at it in ages, but that's a great book.
It's really good. Yeah. Like, I honestly, when I read it
open.
before, it was only for all, like, I just kept reading the Eldar stuff over and over again. Like, I just want.
Yeah.
Captain, would you give us a 1d100 roll, please? Okay. There are, as you're drifting out, there are no ill omens, which means you need not make a command test to try and soothe their fears. Oh, this is so great.
The crew of House Aquade holds its own.
With you, when you drift out, like it is in the blackness of space. So again, you're looking out through. Well, I know you have no sensors right now, so you can't even see the damn thing.
we can't see where it is.
Regis, would you give us a Synescence roll, please?
Synescence.
Yeah.
All right.
And we'll give it at a plus 20 for this roll. Okay.
Don't fail.
You're just not even sure if you're, with the sensors down, you're not even sure that you're at the right spot. You know, there's the aspect sensors would include gravitic sensors, so even like I don't know, even like sensing the pull of the planet is just not there. Alessandro, why don't you give us a piloting void check, because you would be the one who would be taking control right now. Maybe it's
pilot, spacecraft or flyers.
Spacecraft.
Okay.
Flyers, if you want to go down to the surface of the witch-cursed world. I'm sure you guys want to, right?
All right.
You've never been to a witch-cursed world.
Maybe I can do something right. Yes,
Nice.
finally.
So you can feel it when it drops out. There is just, like it's subtle because of the size of the planet and whatever else, but you can feel the ever so slight, the pull of having to establish this thing in orbit. Even without it, you can feel it in the stick almost.
Yeah. She's got a heavy pull, sir.
So has all gone right? Are we where we want to be? Looking at anyone, but Alessandro in particular.
The whole crew is just like, the ones over at the sensor station are kind of like, nothing, sir, they're dead.
I'm like at the top of those stairs up there, bellowing to anyone. Are we where we're supposed to be? Someone say something.
Alessandro says we're in the planet's gravity, so we would be where we need to be, sir.
Okay, splendid. Let's proceed apace.
Yeah. Repair crews will have to do this on their own. So, to effect the repairs in the void here, with that cursed world below, would you guys... where's the repair check?
This is a very spooky kind of feel to it, given that we're 3 days from Halloween.
Yeah. It's great. Like I was thinking, like, I really should plan something scary for Halloween. I'm like, yeah, I got plenty of. I got a Call of Cthulhu campaign going, a 40K campaign going. Like, we're good.
Right.
Yep.
Okay. So the repairs is I believe it was hard. I said right, like minus 10 or minus 20.
Oh my god, minus 20 and they have a 30% chance?
So
we have a 10% chance they can fix this thing?
Minus 10. So they have 20. So no one has training in tech use whatsoever.
No, I haven't. It's not on the Void Fair.
Good stuff. Let's see how the repair crew does. Who wants to roll for the... Oh, it's Captain?
Yeah, Captain. Here, it's on you.
If it's the crew, it's
now,
you.
Hold on. Before we roll, Captain, do you have any abilities that boost the crew by...
It'd be great if you did.
Is the crew an ally?
Crew is an ally, absolutely.
As a free action, once per round, the rogue trader may grant an ally that he can see and who can hear him plus 10 to any one test.
Fuck yeah. Yep.
So you go down where they're doing the repairs and you
and I'm bellowing and pointing.
Yeah,
and,
like the tech crews are all kind of getting together and they see you coming up with your void suit on and they're like, Captain?
I mean, and this is what my father did, so I'm like, hoist the mast, whatever.
Sensor, I think.
Hoist the sensor. By golly.
All right, so then that means you're offsetting the difficult thing, so that's just rolling against 30%.
All right. Oh, let's see. Wait.
Do you have something else?
And I also have this. I have this air of authority. I'll throw it out there.
Sure. What does it do?
Hang on a second. There it is.
Born to command. On a success, you may affect a number of things. Oh, but is there anything more to the text of that? It's like it doesn't tell me what. Like it says it affects him, but it doesn't tell me what the effect is. Maybe it's a command. Let's take a look at the skill command, because maybe there's something you can.
Right.
There we go.
It's probably even under the I. Let's see.
Why don't we do this?
Go.
Let's say this is that you are going to do because of that ability. I'll let you make a command test. Let's see if you can improve your motivation of these.
A talent?
Yeah. Yeah, the air of authority is a talent, and the command.
And what I'll do is I'll do it sort of like how the roll for the the navigation test does. Each degree of success will add +5 to their test for this. So you're going to make a command test, and each degree of success gives +5 to their roll on top of your natural, the other benefit you're using already.
Yep.
Okay.
Right.
So normally, just so you know why this is good, is that normally it only affects your fellowship bonus. So this allows you to do fellowship bonus plus 1d10.
Cool.
All right. So
Okay.
the command roll though is straight up.
Command
right?
roll straight up. Yeah, this is going to be a challenging
There we
one.
go.
Look at that. So plus
Yeah.
20. Tell us what Captain Quinelli, what's he like when he's out there barking the commands to get this repair crew going?
And if I'm in a void suit, I'm imagining it's got this, comical if it wasn't serious, like this tinny sound coming out of the Warhammer 40,000.
Yes.
And I'm channeling my father's what on earth are we doing? Why are we here? We're here for House Aquade. I'm giving this sort of continual.
Absolutely.
Propaganda speech of.
So that is a plus 20 then. So that is 4.1. Let's give you the benefit of the doubt. It'll be plus 25. So it's a 35 you're rolling against. A 55 you're rolling against for the repair crew. So, you want to give us a percentile roll?
Percentile and no modifier then.
No
right?
modifier. 55 or less you need to roll.
Come on.
10!
There we go.
So
There we go.
fuck it, that would be 4.5 degrees of success for that. So they do a wonderful job. It is gonna, it's repairs, so it's not damaged any longer. But those of you on the ship, like immediately, the Auspex sensors come up once again. The targeting sensors come up once again. The Auspex is red.
I think, given it's Warhammer 40,000, there's got to be some fear in there. I mean, I know, admiration, sure, yeah. But I think I saw my father once, there's the foreman, if you will. I'm sure there's a better word in Warhammer 40,000, but the foreman's doing something, and I knock him clean out, and I grab another guy, and they say, "You do it," and then whoa, some fear-inducing, commandant kind of.
Okay. Yeah, and they do a terrific job of repairing it. It's the sensors are back up and active. If they're damaged once again, this is a part-time fix. When you get to Foothold, you're going to want to get that, because if those are damaged again, they're destroyed, and you're going to have to replace those parts as opposed to repair them. But it's good. So then, as the last of the crew is piling inside, you Sparrow look down at the witch-cursed world, and being on the outside, even though it should not be possible, you feel like you can almost see from an angle of the starlight hitting it enough to would you give us a willpower test at plus 10, please?
Look at that! I'm gonna roll.
So you sort of grit your teeth, and I suppose it's sort of a look at the world and not today, witches, and back inside, and you are ready to carry on.
We may need to return here, crew. Kind of nonsensical. There's no reason.
So this is fortunately only a matter of, give us a 1d5 roll. Let's see how many hours it took you to complete this. 2 hours. Start to finish, it was 2 hours to complete the repairs to your thing. So
impressive, Captain.
But I think there's got to be some. So the ship, because I like working it. So I command code to do ship's communication. Grab that giant metal funnel off the wall. Yeah. And lead them in a few rounds of House Aquade. There's some phrase, or I'll come up with something later. But some hip hip hurrah. Some whatever.
Nice.
Yeah,
this definitely getting that repaired in the middle of nowhere has definitely, that's not mechanically improved the morale of the crew, but they are ready to continue their journey. Now, Navigator, you got lots of fate points left, right? So you're good to. Oh wait.
Yeah, I've just checked in there. I've got 0 of them. They're good. I've got lots of zeros.
Okay.
Should we end the session here? So we're guys.
We're not worried about that. We're not worried about that.
So
before we set off, I think Godwin tries to find a time when he catches Alessander, walking by himself or whatnot, and he inquires about the cactus that you were eating after the first warp storm.
It was a couple days back now.
You saw that?
Oh yes, I see everything.
Oh,
His eyes kind of adjust.
What of it? You've never had it? It's a delicacy from the world I'm from. I don't recommend eating it often, as it can leave scars, but...
Would you give us, let's hear, Alessander.
Deception?
Give us a deceive check, and then
Is there a deceive?
I think it's,
there
is
it
it evaluate? Is the... No, that's a value of something. It is... Is it scrutiny?
Scrutiny?
Let me take a look. I'm just in the skill section right now.
Yeah.
Helps assess people or objects you encounter,
Including
including determine truthfulness. So it'll be a scrutiny check, and if you've got anything that helps you with detecting lies or anything like that. Or in Alessandra's case, if you have anything that helps you lie.
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
No.
Then just a straight up deceive versus scrutiny.
I am amazing at this game. I am amazing. I have not failed at less than 4 degrees. Oh my god.
And Godwin? So
you
he's
go.
obviously badly lying about this.
And I have only a 20 in scrutiny, so.
That's awesome.
Oh, I rolled a 3?
That's a 3 against a 93.
Holy smokes. So it's quite obvious Alessander is lying.
Might want to keep the delicacies to yourself at some point. I'm sure the captain wouldn't appreciate those such things. And then he walks away.
Of course.
Okay. So then, with this...
What are you two whispering about over there? Onward!
Okay, now... Let's see here. We're going to go back to the warp stuff.
I already have my Rogue Trader Book of Secrets.
Awesome.
Jerk.
Okay.
We can all be friends. I'm sure.
Okay, 1 second here. I'm just...
Let's pretend we're in Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones in space. Here we go.
Oh, this is great stuff. Yeah, the stuff in the Navis Primer. Where is it here? A journey through the warp should be an adventure in itself. A GM who reduces warp travel to a mere series of dice rolls is in danger of trivializing such a perilous and feared enterprise. The rules in this chapter allow the GM to describe in detail such a journey and bring the hazards of warp travel to life. They actually changed some of the stages in it, which is why I was looking to see.
Yeah.
So that is fantastic. So let's do this. Regis, I know how long this will be. Let me see here. Well, actually, you know what? It's random because you're in the middle of a fucking warp storm. Okay. Okay. Would you kindly give us... I guess first off, where are you going now? Looking at the map, are you planning on landing at where you were intending on breaking there at the battlefield?
Captain, I think we were, right?
Or the battleground?
Or are we going to just push straight on to...
Yeah, it doesn't really cut... doesn't show it properly. The battleground is really supposed to be like the midpoint of the of the rift. There may also, the battleground is often a place where, let me tell you what to expect there. In fact, let's see here.
I think we had a picture of the battleground.
Oh, I need to get one. Yeah, see, there you go. My one copy is first printing, one copy is fourth printing, or third printing. So, there we go. Justified. Lengths I'll go to rationalize unnecessary purchases. The battleground. Legend has it that the battleground was an ancient wreckage field even before the rogue traders Trame and Edimus Lathamor fought here to mutual destruction over the ragged worlds. A vast span of debris swirls slowly under dim starlight, most of it imperial, spread across the empty void. Every crew has dozens of tales as to what happened here long before the rogue traders traversed the Maw. That is
they might just want to keep going.
Yeah. Well, does it affect the difficulty?
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Trying to push through. The Hermitage is. Let me tell you what the other two spots are. So you can judge from there. So the battleground is the halfway point. The reason it's a more desirable outcome is because there may be other ships there. So you may, especially if you need to have effective repairs or whatever else, or if you want to know, whether anyone passed anyone else at these stopping points, that's a way to do that.
Okay.
But the other ones that you can choose from are, where are we here? The temple is a dead system at the very outskirts of the Great Warp Storms, a short warp jump from Port Wander. It is strangely symmetrical, almost artificial system of perfectly spherical rocks, several hundred meters in diameter, orbiting a sun that is a cinder of dense matter. Nothing else exists, no dust, gas streams, or worlds. The temple is so named either because of a long association in Voidfarer myth with the temple card of the Sibylline Emperor's Tarot. The card signifies the commencement of a blessed endeavor, but also the passing out of the realm of the sanctuary of the known. So there is a propitious, kind of superstitious association with visiting the temple. And then the Hermitage, in the midst of the mistaken age, a tiny Ministorum sect paid vast sums for Trame Lathamon to carry them and their void station, Hermitage, out into the halo stars. Lathamon cast the hermits forth from his holds at the Conclave, a station then known for the frequency with which vessels met to trade for rumors of what lay beyond. The outer reaches of the Hermitage have crumbled and opened to the void, but a few hermits still come to dwell here. Rogue traders have long left ciphered messages at the Hermitage for their allies, hidden at prearranged points within the Void Station. The richly decorated central transept is sometimes used as a neutral zone for clandestine trade, the parties standing before the blue stone altar, platinum Aquila, and perfectly preserved banners depicting the victories of St. Drusus.
Regius, what say you? What shall we do?
You know that to safely navigate here, you're going to have to drop off once more. Is it the battleground, the temple, or the Hermitage?
And they're all similar difficulties, Navigator?
Are you saying the Hermitage is tougher?
All would be about the same.
Let's try the Hermitage.
Hermitage, okay.
All right. That's just what I was thinking.
Okay. So then, first, let's divine the auguries. So, Regis, let me move back to the results. There we go. Would you give us a challenging, so +0 senescence test? You are going to perform a complex ritual which includes perusing any existing navigating charts to determine whether the auguries are favorable for a safe translation back into the warp. Okay.
Looks like you could just use a fake. Oh, never mind.
So what this means...
We have no clue.
You will need to wait another 1d5 days until you wait. What this tells you, the travel to the Hermitage would take you at this time 24 days.
Oof.
Would you like to make a test now?
Yep.
That might be wrong. That might be right. Or let me rephrase that. That might be high. That might be low from what you expect. So
Right.
it could take more than that. It could take less than that. The auguries are just unclear as a result of that rule. Would you like to check for the other locations?
Let's try that.
Okay. The temple or the battleground?
Let's see the temple.
Temple. Okay, go ahead. So same challenging. Okay. The temple. "26 days of travel." That one you're
Then I
confident
say-
of.
Yeah.
You want to check the battleground?
Let's try the battleground as well.
Okay.
No clue.
Okay. Well, you have a clue. It's just not clear if this is right. Okay. Oh. Battleground is about 5 months.
Give or take 5 months.
That could be more. That could be less. What you know is the it's uncertain as to whether the battleground or the things, and these are the same lengths of time that it would require the person ahead of you too. Just because they got a day's head start on you does not mean that they're getting through there any faster necessarily.
So, what do you think? I'm only sure on the temple, and the others I'm extremely unsure on. But clearly it seems that it's between the temple and... oops.
Hermitage?
Hermitage. Yeah, I was trying to look for my map.
I suppose the Hermitage, or the temple then. It's, we'll go with the certainty, I suppose.
Let's go with that.
Each Navigator house has its own unique and clandestine traditions and rites meant to aid in reading the inscrutable tides of the warp. The rituals favored by some clans that operate within the Calixta sector and the Cronus Expanse are... let's see here. Oh, hold up. You know what? There are... Let me tell you what the... Because you're part of the... Who's it?
The Benetech.
Yeah. One second. I think there are rituals listed in here. Let's see here.
Just
Where
quick
is it?
search on Benetech.
Because I wonder if that could give a bonus to your checks here. That's Navigator powers. Ooh, nifty, nifty, nifty. Yeah, each of the rituals give a plus 10 to your rolls. And you were, let's see here, not Nostromo. What was your house again?
Benetet.
Benetet.
It's from the core book.
Yeah. Okay. I think. Well, in any event, are any of those checks within? No, they're not within 10. So if you're, if you were able to spend time doing that, like dissecting an avian, entering a self-induced trance where you scream out prophecies of the ship's fate, that's great. All very, relaxing stuff. So then the next thing is to translate. I guess so you've got a destination then?
Yep, we've got the destination, temple.
Okay.
We're standing right here, Regius. No need to shout if you are shouting.
So then, each captain has their own superstitious practices. For example, some might insist on booming out hymns through the ship's vox casters and require their ship to stand alert and sing fervently in praise of the God Emperor. Others demand the flogging of a crew by their taskmaster so that their mingled blood might strengthen the vessel's machine spirit. Have you any thought as to what the Aquare traditions are? Captain?
Ritual sacrifice. Not people. Not people.
Of course. Not crew. I mean people, but not crew. Probably self-flagellation of some kind. I mean, like with whatever tool the crew that crew member is most attuned to. So like the engine folks would have certain tools. Probably the security personnel would have weaponry, but they would like beat themselves, and in screaming house, aquade, and then beating until blood runs down their off arm because they need their sword arm, with a melee.
Okay.
But they would beat themselves until minorly bloodied.
All right. Then, would you kindly give us a D100 roll? Okay, good to go. Then, once again, Regis.
All right.
It opens up, and
time for the chill.
Let's see here. Should transition to. Yeah. Okay. As you translate in, would everyone give us a willpower check at plus 10, please? Only because of the presence. Oh, boy. God, when? Oh, my goodness. Anyone spending fate points to avoid this as this... And the only reason I'm making you guys roll is because you're in the maw. If you're outside of this...
whatever. Spend the last point.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will do so as well.
Go ahead.
Maybe I'll make a will save yet today.
Yeah, I would like to.
So close.
Oh.
Nope.
Okay. So it sounds like everyone failed then. Going left to right. Captain, would you kindly give us a D100 roll? And 1 second here. Captain, you failed by... Where are you?
Very, very little.
Oh, yeah, so it's only 28.
Very little.
tell me what it is that Captain Aquare fears. And not something in the abstract, I mean something physical. What does he fear? Betrayal from the crew? Does he fear?
He starts to have his first doubt if he brought the right people. So he's like, this is his first time. And, and he's trying to avoid blaming himself, which is a classic rogue trader, good, solid habit.
So here's what I'd like you to do. Keep an eye on your dice rolls and let me know during this warp trip, or this trip to the warp, if you roll a 9 on any of your rolls. Doesn't matter what the tens digit is, only a 9. Jeffrey, would you give us a D100 roll, please? And Alessandra, only fail by 1, so it'll be D100 plus 10.
Oh, okay.
Translate in.
100 plus 10.
69.
69.
Oof. You know what? It's the exact same. That compulsion hits you once again. You shook it. Godwin brought it up, but as you go back in, you feel once again.
I think you mentioning it too, brought it back to the forefront of my mind.
Yeah, it's still only at the same degree, so you can make a willpower test at plus 10 to resist indulging in it, but that's the compulsion that hits you. Godwin, would you give us a D100 plus 40?
Hey.
How does that even?
Holy shit. So what you see as you're translating in, somehow you can feel like it coming as you're passing through the aperture that Regis has opened. You pass through, and then for a split second, you see yourself standing bare, naked, and utterly without a ship before the void. You're a traveler of the void in the literalist of senses for this brief moment, standing out with the vast, kaleidoscopic. Purple is a word that might use to describe it, but really there are colors that the human eye simply cannot comprehend, that are swirling around you, and faces within that storm. But what particularly draws your attention is, as it's not lightning, but some pulse of light, chaotic plasma perhaps of some kind, flashes, and you see an enormous teardrop-shaped ship looming above you. And though you know it is a vessel, not unlike the Mortis Probati, where it is miles long, this thing sees you. And you're back on board the ship. Would you give us a D5 roll, please? You gain 3 corruption. And then, Regis, how badly did you fail?
Failed by...
Does anybody know where corruption goes?
By 1.
Where did he go?
Corruption is...
talents at the bottom. Talents tab.
So Regis only by 1. So 1d100 plus 10, please. $51. Okay. Would you give us a D100 roll, please?
Oh,
Oh my god. Oh man, you suffer inexplicable blackouts for the duration of this voyage.
ooh.
And I think
That's good in your navigating.
really is.
And I think that probably ties into as I'm up on the stairs there, eyeballing around and seeing, Regius basically prone up against the wall.
Yeah.
Did I bring the right people?
Where was it that you chose to go again? Was it through the what do you call it? Sorry, were you heading to the temple, the one that you knew?
Yeah, the temple. Yeah.
Was that like 26 days?
Yes.
24 or 26? 26. You're right. You're right, Chief.
All right, so then there's a brief moment where you are blinking, then you are brought back because next we need, that was only the translation into the realm. Now we need to locate the Astronomicon. This is a senescence roll at plus 20. Hold on. It's not a stable route. Senescence, so this is a flat, challenging senescence test, but I'll give you a plus 10 from the Warpbane hull. Minus 5 degrees. Well, it's a flat number, okay?
Always good to keep rolling these high 90s.
Oh, so you're going to take minus 20 to any warp tests that you make during the journey. Because you cannot sense where the Astronomicon is. Sheesh. As with every stage of navigating the warp, the navigator must perform various rituals to help ease the passage. Because you're communing with the very essence of the God Emperor himself, the navigator normally mutters holy incantations. Oh my gosh. So how does he feel to have lost contact with the Astronomicon?
Yeah, so for him, he feels adrift. He's his normal great self-confidence is eroded. He tries to hide it, but he's definitely unnerved there.
And this is when you're conscious. Not
Yeah, nobody blacks out.
But I try to keep it covered up, and that's why I'll keep particularly to my my quarters.
Okay.
Has anyone seen the
Navigation room.
So that was stage 3, was locating the Astronomicon. You cannot find it, but you still need to steer
20.
through here. The upside is I'm assuming from your Scrivener friend, you do have detailed charts for navigating the Maw. As much as can be, which gives you plus 20, so it'll be 10 less, or minus 20 from the failure to contact the Astronomicon. So just give us a flat navigation warp test at plus 10 because of the Warpbane hull. It's a pretty good selection of, what do you call it, of optional things, eh, guys?
I love it.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
There you go.
Okay.
You're back.
Sublime to the ridiculous.
So here's the great thing with this, is to affect the duration. So that's pretty cool. Great roll. Really, really great roll. Although that was your forbidden lore warp, not your navigation.
It's got the same
Same score?
rating.
Okay.
Same score.
So then,
Because of tricky roll 20.
Yeah, exactly.
I get the same bonus, but I'm not rolling navigation ever again.
Again, every 5 days in the warp is when we roll for potential encounters. So, Regis, would you give us 2 separate 1d100 rolls? Let's see what these first couple of days are like, then we'll fill in some role-playing for how you guys are reacting to this. And I want to touch base with Godwin and see how he feels about seeing that thing. Okay, that's 1. Those are not... Oh. Do you wish to hit an etheric rift, which is a physical encounter? The vessel's hull scrapes against a jagged fragment of false reality and takes some damage, ignoring void shields. Or a warp rift, another physical encounter. The vessel slews into a nebula of unreality for 1d10 days. However, I will let you make once again another what do you call it? Perception roll. That's what you rolled, I think, last time to avoid things. So you can make a perception roll to try and avoid either of those. What are you thinking?
Do I get to...
You choose one of those two things, and then you'll make a perception roll to try and avoid it.
Let's go for the damage one.
Okay. And I think the damage one is where, once again, you've sort of blacked out. It's a feature of you just being, you've lost yourself once again, and then when you suddenly, whoa,
So we run into a shard of
Here we
unreality.
go. Yeah, so it's a difficult perception test, -10.
And, okay, yep. Oops. It's going to be a toughie.
Oh! What does it look like as you suddenly, become aware of what's going on? Thank God you guys restored the Auspex senses, too.
Oh, yeah.
I'm anxious, nervous as I'm fretting about my loss of contact with the Holy Astronomicon, but then I just get concentration again, and I just feel this other shard approaching.
Yeah.
And I wrench the ship to the side to avoid it.
Everyone on the ship
Just
feels
missing
the
it.
whole thing pitched to the side in this unexpectedly. And they're totally unaware of the threat that you passed. Now,
Everything all right, Regius? As we all go kind of, sliding down the floor.
yeah. Godwin, tell us about how you are processing what you saw. Did you tell anyone what you saw? Because this event would have happened about 4 days after when you first transitioned.
This is a secret.
Okay.
I wrote it into my book of secrets, but I'm not telling anybody.
Yeah.
And I imagine his book of secrets is like a data pad or something like that he's
Sure.
got under heavy encryption, but still. I don't think he wants to tell anybody, so he's internalizing it, which is probably the worst thing. If he could share this burden, it would be, burden shared is half kind of thing. But he's too stoic and not capable of that kind of, I don't know, healing. So he'll, I think he seems jittery, like almost nervous.
Yeah.
More so than normal.
Tell us about how he felt for the first night he finally laid down. Dreams are always fucked up when you're in the warp anyway.
Yeah, I think he tried to not sleep, and it wasn't so much that or maybe we didn't try to not sleep, and it was so much that you have those nights when you're like, brain just won't shut off, and you're like actively thinking, and no matter what you do, it just goes, and it's like he tries to think about other things or tries to think about sleep, and it always circles back to that ship and it looking at him, and just that instant connection for the few seconds that there was there.
Yeah. Do you have any knowledge Xenos?
No, but I think this might spark a desire to learn.
Or Xenos lore. I think Forbidden Lore Xenos, I think what the skill is technically called.
That'd be me.
Yeah.
I
have that too, but yeah.
He has a Forbidden Lore, but not Xenos.
Not that one? Okay. So he's just, probably, well, I guess, Alessandro, why don't you tell us about how this manifests? Because this is now 5 days of travel where you're either indulging in or fighting against this compunction.
Yeah, I think I rolled and I managed to not engage in it, but I think it's a case of like every time he runs his tongue over the roof of his mouth, he can like feel the wounds and the scars there almost now, and like that's the reminder all the time. So it's not even when he sees this cactus in his room, but like just all the time when he's talking or distracted. Yeah. And so it's like always on his mind, just constant.
So he's almost in constant pain then. That's
yeah, like it's just horrible. He's
Captain...
been in the warp before, but he's blaming it on these storms that they're passing by to get to this
this is
place.
The worst you've been through.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Nothing compares to this. And then Captain, tell us about your fears of your crew. How's that manifesting over those 5 days?
I mean, I would think I'm thinking that it'd be hard at this point watching Regius, pass out periodically, and he'd probably see and then disappear into his office for long periods of time, and then the ship throws itself over to the side. And,
that actually give us a D10 roll. We'll see at that very moment. It didn't really matter if you make a check or not. Okay, so it doesn't trigger. But yeah, like you're maybe are you the kind of captain who's like constantly on that chair unless you're sleeping, or?
I mean, I don't, I'm thinking I don't really have patterns yet, but this might be forming it because, seriously, is it always like this?
Yeah.
I mean, I think he's gone through the warp before. It's hard to imagine a rogue trader family, scion.
Oh, you'd have to, and I mean, having traveled to,
it'd be inside the Imperium. It's a totally different situation, right?
Oh, yeah. And this is again this is worse than the warp storms that would compare to traveling through the Maw would be very close to the kind that tear ships apart. It's easier. This is a transitionable passage to get through, but it is not pleasant, and it's very unpredictable, and it changes on a dime.
And I'm probably recalling some of my older family members. What it sounded like to me was, when I was young, I hiked 20 feet through the snow, but they were saying this about ship passage, and I was probably like, oh my God, I've heard this 10 times. Seriously?
Yeah.
But now it's like, maybe so.
Does it occur to you, I'm not sure if you're still carrying around or if you just got it in your room, but that Nemelith that you had, does that would serve as a tangible reminder that your great-grandfather made this passage?
Yeah. I think that probably anchors him. So at the times that he looks over and sees his navigator unconscious, prone on the bridge, he's tightly gripping that.
I'm picturing more the blackouts being just perhaps there's his eyes, those blackened eyes. You can see flecks of stars almost in them for a time. You're like, what is going on? And then he'll come back, but it's not a matter of him falling down. James, what do you think? Does that sound closer to?
No, I think he would just be staring into space, as it were. Literally, is it?
So maybe it's more where I call your name and you don't move, and I'm like, Regius, this kind of a thing, and then on a delayed basis or something.
Yeah. So
I'm clutching that that plinth, or I kind of clutch it as I'm it feels a little bit falling apart because he doesn't have anything to fall back on. If he'd done this for years, he could say it'll be fine, but he doesn't really know it'll be fine. Is this how it's supposed to be?
Yeah. Okay. And then, so that is 5 days in the warp thus far. Let's do the next 5 days. So, Regius, would you kindly give us 2 D100 rolls, please?
So we're good? We're all done?
Let's see, 26 divided by 5 equals...
Lots of D100s.
Seriously.
Oh, that didn't work.
If it's the last thing you rolled, you can just put up. Oh, 5. Look at that. Okay, so do you want to choose that all's well, nothing happens, and you get a chance to make a senescence check to try and locate the Astronomicon again? Or Do you wish to roll? And character suffering from warp travel hallucination, which is all of you motherfuckers, can try and shake off the effects. Or do you want psychic predators?
Captain? Let's go with the first one.
We need to toughen up the crew. Let's get those psychic predators on board. First one's
okay. So let's first have Regis give us a challenging, so regular Senescence check once again. Let's see if you can hear the Astronomicon or contact the Astronomicon once again. Most definitely not. But then let's have everyone give a willpower check at +10.
That's for what?
This is to try and recover from those hallucinations. To have that ship that you were seeing in your sleep gone. Nice. So Regis,
wow.
You were no longer blacking out. Alessander, that compulsion is no longer there.
Amazing.
And then, sorry, how to Godwin? Did you roll? Willpower +10. You're not thinking of that any longer, or at least it doesn't disturb you any longer. Captain, do you want to spend a fate point?
Yeah, I'll spend a fate point.
Okay.
No.
Okay, so it doesn't mean you're suffering anything different. It's just the everyone else seems to be back to normal, and perhaps it's just that's even more concerning.
I think I'm sullen up. I'm sullen up there in the chair. I'm quiet and sullen.
Solid like the Emperor?
Yeah.
But I have some good news. Mm-hmm. Because of Regis's incredible navigation roll.
The distance one.
The trip, which should have taken you 26 days, takes 6. And a day in, you are able to, you feel you are at the temple. So, this is where you were intending on going. You cannot, okay, if you cannot perceive the Astronomicon, you can attempt one final time. So go ahead. If you can detect it, you're able to transition back into regular space without making a roll. So senescence at just a flat senescence. God dang. It's just fucking maw. It's so hard to detect. Then you need a navigation warp test at -20, but it's plus. Oh motherfuck! Because you rolled really bad for that navigation check, right?
Yep.
Okay, so it's actually only -10. So a navigation test at -10. Look at that! Beautiful! So once again, what do you call it? Aperture opens and you transition back into normal space. So, how is everybody feeling?
On the shoulder. You old seer, you told us 3 times as long. You're a clever sort.
Like to keep you entertained.
So having touched base here once again, Captain, there's a cheer from the entire vessel as you transition in, and with that transitioning back into real space, that gnawing uncertainty you've had, these last 6 days, disappears.
All is well.
Yeah.
Father was right.
So, there is let's see here. As you transition out, how is everybody feeling at this point? Godwin, you are grateful to see that on the Auspex sensors, no sign of any strange tear-shaped vessels.
That's good. Apparently I'm tainted.
You are tainted, yeah. So let's quickly take a look at that. So you gain
According
corruption.
to the corruption points chart, 1 to 30 is only tainted, so that's good.
Yeah, so no, you're fine. You're not, blood for the blood god. Skulls for the Skull Throne. Yet, let's see here. I think what you guys then say. Yeah, so there is it's so strange. Alessandro, you're a remorseless gambler, right?
Yeah, probably.
Well, I can't remember. Didn't you say you had a pretty high gambling score or something like that?
I do have a good gambling score. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, maybe you're the one who might be closest to knowing the tarot, the Imperial Tarot, and seeing the marking, like it's exactly as described. Like it almost perfectly matches that one of the tarot, and you're just like, wow. And you happen to notice out of the corner of your eye, Alessandro, one of the crew members, one of the ones manning the Auspex sensors, he seems to be like as if he's detected something. He seems busier than he should be from having just transitioned back into real space.
Oh, well, go up and check.
Okay.
What's going on here?
Sir, there's around one of those. There is a beacon, sir, coming from something, a vessel identifying itself as the Penitent Traveler. And he hits a button, and this ship, kind of like a hologram of the ship, comes up. And they say they are a pilgrim ship, destined for holy sites within the expanse.
We better bring this to the captain.
Okay. Yeah, you could turn around and just say, like, you can transfer.
Yeah. Captain.
Yes.
We've found a beacon colony ship. Holy travelers.
I see.
We wish to engage them.
Now, give me a sec here. I think it's check use to use the sensors, but let me just double check. Because if you guys suck at it, I don't want you guys to have to make the roll.
Are they like hailing for help or anything, or they're just transmitting that that's what they are?
Who has a pretty good scrutiny?
I got a 37.
In what?
Scrutiny.
I'm 17.
19.
Godwin?
20.
So, Alessandro, you're at 37, you said?
Yeah.
Nice.
Impressive.
So you, the detection, hold on. The Mortis Probati has plus 10 to detection. So would you give us you can focus the Auspex sensors to scan the vessel, if you like.
Oh, yeah. Let's do it.
So give us a scrutiny check at plus 10. And actually, you know what? Let's assume there's another plus 10 on top of that from you could have everyone sort of like the crew operating their sensors.
Yeah, the crew's helping me out. Yeah, for sure.
So give plus 20.
Here we go. Come on, degrees of success. Oh.
You got a fate. Oh, you got a fate points.
Yeah.
Okay. So unfortunately, you scan it, and I mean, it's exactly as I said. It's identified. It's tough to read because of how close it is to some of the objects. I imagine that's interfering with it, and perhaps there's some lingering damage, so that it's not quite as the Auspex sensors aren't quite as focused as before. But it is, as they say, it is a ship. It is a pilgrim ship, marked with like lots of like Aquilas and stuff like that on the outside. All the markings of the holy, God Emperor. And it definitely seems damaged. Like you can't tell the particulars of the damage, but it looks like it is damaged. So it makes sense why I would have a beacon coming. What do you guys wish to do?
Are you feeling generous, Captain?
And they're actually asking for help, or they're just
yeah.
Do you want to try and vox them?
That's what the beacon means. Yeah.
Yeah, why don't you vox them? Let's yes, make contact. See why they're generally hailing.
Okay. Crew member, your what do you call it? 40K Uhura tries to contact them.
His name is Code. Koadh.
Okay. So Code tries to contact them, and A minute goes by. 2, 5, 10. No response.
No response at all, sir.
So let's see. So what are our options? If we get closer, can we tell more about it, Kevin? Is that how? Is it?
You could also. So thus far, what you've done is focused your aspect sensors on one thing, which is why it was you had this rating as you did. You could do a wider scan to see if there's anything else around. That is a hard one though, so it'd be -20 plus 10 from the quality of your sensors, plus 10 from the assistance from the crew. So it would be another scrutiny but this time it would be just at 37 for Alessander.
Well, let's say we do it. Can't hurt.
Might as well try. See what you can find, Alessander.
Nothing.
It's empty space, sir.
Yeah, there's nothing out there except for these, and it's just all these things drifting around in a specific format. It makes sense why why pilgrims may want to go here, but it's unclear why they've stopped apart from damage to the ship.
We could board them, sir.
Do we know? We know the ship is right. We see it, or our sensors.
Yep.
I suppose. Yes. Let's get closer.
Okay. So the ship begins drifting in closer. As you're getting in, you're able to. Why don't you do another scrutiny test there, Alessander, this time at +20. I'm assuming you're focusing on the penitent
Ship
traveler.
Again. Yeah. Oh.
Okay. So looking at what this means is each degree of success gives you more for the what do you call it? More information about the specific damage. This is an action you can take during combat, incidentally. But
oh, cool. Yeah, like if you were damaged to your opponent, you could check what it was.
Exactly. Because each round, the ship can only take one attack action, one maneuver action, and then everyone else can take an extended action, which is just sort of like other stuff. And in addition, the crew can also take actions.
Well, someone else should get good at scrutiny, because I'm assuming in combat I'm going to be piloting the ship. So.
Yes.
I believe that's something I will be looking at.
Nice.
And okay, so what this means is emergency repairs. That also is something you can do during combat. So you guys have learned 2 maneuvers so far. Okay, so what this tells you, basic success tells you all essential components except for the auger arrays or the void shields. You can't tell whether the void shields are up. You can't tell whether the auger arrays are up, but what you can tell is that the Vox unit on this has been destroyed. You can also tell that the main Vox array is destroyed, so they cannot contact you, and their engines have likewise been destroyed. And there's there's evidence of them being attacked in this. So this is probably within about 10 VUs from, so about 100,000 kilometers away from the vessel when you pick all this stuff up. You say this back to the captain.
Yeah.
Captain, what do you make of this?
Are these like our religious people, Kevin? Just to be clear?
Yeah. They're all, they would be devotees of the God Emperor.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, attacking a pilgrim ship. It's disturbing.
Yeah, who would do such a thing?
We should lend aid.
Okay. So you drift into, again, you're about 10 VUs away when, Alessandro, you don't make a roll for this, but something small and spherical suddenly spins and begins accelerating towards the Mortis Probati. Would you give us another scrutiny test here? You'll get the plus 20 once again.
Seldom a sign of friendliness.
Oh, so close.
Man.
You have no idea what it is that is spinning towards you, but I imagine it can't be good. And we'll have to find out what it is in 2 weeks' time.
Battle stations.
Yeah. All right, guys. So, first voyage into the warp. That was pretty fucking cool, right? There's some neat
I
rules
like
for
how
that.
it plays out. It's like not just simple. It's crazy.
Yeah, it really feels like an actual exercise. So first off, you guys each get 500 XP for today.
Nice.
So congratulations for that. You currently have an ongoing endeavor that will pay off 250 achievement points. So once that is concluded, if you make it to Footfall, what am I saying? When?
Yeah.
Are those like extra experience points? Is that how that works?
So where it is again, like when you the way that sort of the adventures are structured in this, like you get your XP every time we play, but in the course of what you're working towards, there's a goal you're working towards, and different things you achieve or do along the way towards that long goal, you will achieve, you'll earn achievement points.
Right.
There's a threshold of what you need to earn to be successful in that endeavor, and there's certain steps that are like mandatory. You have to do certain things, but the more that you get, the more that you exceed the goal for achievement points, like the more side quests that you kind of do, the more that you get profit factor on top of whatever else you get from succeeding in that task.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So the more you get, the more things that you undertake, the better you get. Now that we've actually played again too, I'm going to dive back in. There's expanded rules for that in what is it? Into the Storm, the hero book for it. So I'm going to read that this weekend as well too. It's fucking super cool source book. So. All right, so then, guys, that is session 2. This campaign is officially underway. So for those, and you can feel free to spend those 500 XP between now and next session too. We don't need to do like training time nonsense with this. This has been at least 12 days traveling in the warp so far. So lots of time.
Yeah, this game doesn't feel like you're breaking with the game to level up. That's for sure.
No.
Yeah.
And so much of it is incremental stuff as well too. Remember that once you get to a total of where is it here? It's a total of where is your advancement? Is it the beginning of the section?
7,000?
Well, you're not there yet. I don't need to waste time in the outro doing this, but there is a certain level, a threshold you reach when you get that much XP, then you be at tier 2, or I've spent.
Page 39, 7,000 XP.
Oh, perfect.
And you said we can. Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, I am advancing my willpower. I'm going to tell you guys right now.
Yep, I've done that. My perception and willpower just went up.
Nice. So then, for those listening at home, thank you so much for joining us for session 2 of our our ongoing Rogue Trader campaign. This is the Into the Maw adventure. As is always the case, if you have any comments, questions, or concerns regarding the session, the campaign, or the game we're playing, please don't hesitate to leave a comment in the comment section below, and I'll endeavor to reply in a timely fashion. In addition, there's a link down below to the Dungeon Musings Discord server, where we have channels there dedicated to, I think we've got this one as Warhammer games in general, so we have a channel dedicated to Warhammer games, as well as every other game we run on the channel. In addition, there's a bunch of other great channels, like finding a group, like, information about loading up your fate points. Again, I saw there are and there's a terrific community that's over there. You are more than welcome to join us over there. There's also a link down below to our friends at Noble Knight Games. Noble Knight Games is the preeminent retailer in hard-to-find and out-of-print RPGs in North America. They have also a terrific full selection of new RPGs, new board games, and new card games. But from my favorite thing for them is the hard-to-find and out-of-print RPGs. I've got my copy of House Steiner on the way to me now, thanks to their wish list. They have a feature where if they don't have it in stock, you can put it on the want list, and then they will send you an email when something comes in, and then you can choose to pick it up. If you make a purchase of $10 or more through their website, be sure to enter the code MUSINGS, and you will save yourself 10% on your purchase. If you're watching this at another time too, that code changes over time, so if that doesn't work, just check one of our more recent videos, and you'll find what the code is now. In addition, there's also a link down below to something called Heroes Save Villages. That is the charity fundraising campaign we run on the channel. It benefits the SOS Children's Villages International Charity, a really terrific organization active in over 130 countries, benefiting over 80,000 orphan and abandoned children, including ongoing relief efforts in the Ukraine and in Ukraine and the surrounding countries at the time of recording. Any donations that go through that link go directly to SOS Children's Villages International. None of it goes to the channel or any other middlemen. It just goes to help out the kids who benefit from their services. And as a small way of saying thank you, one of the things we do is in December, we will be having our next charity raffle. We'll be raffling off a bunch of great gaming stuff and stuff from the Dungeon Musings Red Bubble Shop and some other stuff. All of which, every $25 Canadian that you donate through that link gives you one chance to win something in that raffle, and you can get as many raffle tickets as you want. I do the draw live and re-roll dice to make the selections for who wins. So there's a bunch of great gaming stuff, and if you want to see what was given away in the last raffle, head on over to the Dungeon Musings Discord server under the Charity Initiatives channel, and you can see a full list of all the prizes that people won last time. In addition, the other thing we'll be doing is starting in November, we will be having 3 weeks of voting leading up to our next charity session. Our next charity session will be returning to a channel favorite, the Modifius Entertainment RPG Conan Adventures in an Age Undreamed Of. Terrific 2D20 RPG. And for the 3 weeks leading up to that session, we will be having donors vote. If you've donated since June 15, 2022, you will have a chance to vote every week to help select certain elements of that session. And it'll be, and then we'll be playing at the end of November that actual session. But yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. That's a game that we go back to at least once a year. We always have a lot of fun with it, and we're looking forward to seeing what the donors help shape. So if you donate through that link, not only do you get a chance to help shape what we're going to play in the channel, not only do you get a chance to win some amazing gaming stuff, you also get a chance to help out some kids who could really use some help. The last thing I will say is an enormous thank you to our stalwart explorers making their way through the Maw. So, Sean, Jeffrey, Dave, and most especially James for staying up to the ungodly hour. Thank God it's falling back this weekend for you guys. Thanks so much for playing today, guys. This was, man, getting ready for the campaign. I was like, I need to refresh all my memory, and all I want to do now is dive into all these expanded subsystems so we can take advantage of them, because they're clearly, all these seem like a lot of fun. So thanks so much for playing tonight, guys. This is great.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
All right.
Very cool.
Then, for those listening at home, we'll be back in the Maw and seeing what is hurtling towards our heroes in the system of the temple in 2 weeks. But until then, we hope that we gave you a few hours, take your mind off of the troubles of our world, and think about the troubles that our heroes are encountering on their route to the Coronis Expanse. And until we see you again, stay safe, stay healthy, and happy gaming.
See ya.